How's it going, dude? Oh, yeah, just getting some drinks and some hot chocolate to ease my throat because I've had man flu. So kicking my ass, man. But get get into that age, man. Get into that age. I'll be right back. All right, we can get started. The missus is getting my hot chocolate ready, so that's good. All right, so let's get started if you're ready.
Yes, sir.
All right, folks, for the first time in probably this year, I'm actually on time. How are you doing, Dave?
I'm doing fantastic. I cannot complain.
How is everyone?
Unlike all these mustard hearts out here complaining.
How's your week been?
It's been fantastic. I got information, on games coming out. Kind of pissed off that I didn't get a chance to see the form factor of the Xbox handheld that I thought I'll see. And I didn't get the information on the PlayStation God of War. I don't know if they're gonna remake it because they already did I think the HD remake to it. So I guess they got to remaster the earlier God of Wars. So I don't know.
That makes more sense.
I
Going
know.
back
See
to the trilogy.
what makes sense for us doesn't really make sense for them. Because I guess financially they rather just put out a whole bunch of streaming PlayStation 3 games on that PS Piss Plus until you have at it. And because for the first time, like, okay, so the reason why I'm really pissed off is I went to play the PlayStation. I saw they had a couple of games on the PlayStation Plus, and it was Infamous Festival of the Blood. And I never got a chance to play that DLC, I don't think. And I said, well, let me see so I can refresh my memory. And it was just streaming only. I was like, okay, whatever. I'm playing on the Pro. I'm figuring that the streaming buffering because it's Wi-Fi 6 or 7. It's whatever. It's the best. No, the experience was disgusting. And I was like, damn, if only they would allow you to do localized downloads. And it's just like certain games, and that just wasn't one of them. So I was like really pissed off again with that service because it's so inconsistent. But I noticed because, same thing with the Resistance games and stuff like that. I noticed that they would rather take the short end instead of going the full end for the consumer to give them localized downloads. So
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think they'll do that instead.
they need to get the engine properly. I mean, with the PS3, they decided to go completely crazy, right? They decided to design something that was completely different, and you know, the
But
PS2.
that was Ken Katarugi. That was the father of the PlayStation. That was the guy that actually had a vision. And he designed the PlayStation 1, he designed the PlayStation 2, and his last design was the PlayStation 3. All three of those consoles to me was the heart
Yeah, but the
of
ego
what
got to them.
PlayStation was. Yeah,
The
of course,
PS2
but
ego
obviously,
got to them. They thought
Yeah.
they thought they could design anything and price it at anything, and it will fly off the market. And they got slapped quite.
Well, I mean, yeah, but it still was the best Blu-ray player on the market. 'Cause I remember at that time, Blu-ray players was $1,000,
Yeah, it was.
right? And
But it still didn't
that
help it.
Blu-ray player was the cheapest one. It was $650. It was the cheapest Blu-ray player, but it was the best Blu-ray player on the market in its price range by far. And the original PlayStation 3 had a PlayStation 2 motherboard inside with the PlayStation 3 motherboard. So you had the cell processor
Yeah, I had
plus
that
the
one.
PlayStation 2, and you were able to just throw your disc inside and play. So, and then the input output, you saw it had memory? It had so many different memory slots inside, so many different inputs, outputs.
Yep.
It was the original George Foreman Spider-Man logo grill PlayStation 3 was worth what they advertised for the price, right?
No. Yeah.
And the 360 was just worrying about games, where PlayStation that time was worrying about TV games, multimedia. It was a multimedia juggernaut, and Xbox decided not to put the HD DVD in a box, which I thought was a mistake, but they knew that with a lower cost if they sold it separately, and it died. And I got every last damn movie upstairs with the HD DVD player and a 360 upstairs, my Gears of War 360. And I honestly thought that the 360 had better games at that time because the cell processor was hard to program for. But in the end, Ken was right, where if he forced the developers to develop to the metal of the machine, you was going to get the most out of it. And that's how we got The Last of Us out of that box. And I thought that box was probably a really damn good box. And then they went with this guy, what's this guy? Mark Cerny with the PlayStation 4. And all he did was copy where Xbox was going. Copy the chipset, copied the CPU, copied everything, skimped on everything, found out that Microsoft was doing SSDs in every device, because I have the white papers. Microsoft put out an edict inside the whole building, from the Surface to every device that they were shipping had to have an SSD in it. He understood that and made sure that he went and got Sony to sucker up for that super fast dumb SSD with the throughput that was ridiculous, and it didn't live up to what it was. The PlayStation 5. It didn't live up to what it was for. Mark Cerny copied the Xbox through and through with the regular PlayStation 4. The PlayStation 5, he got them to suck up for the SSD. But I don't like his designs. His design is see what they're doing, copy off of it, just make a little tweaks here, and he knows that their tool set, which is really good tools, they have really good tools, will carry them through.
But isn't that what they do all the time now? They've been doing that for years now. They've kind of been following in the footsteps of Xbox for a while now. I mean, they take a long time to get there, but they are following it. I mean, if I told you 5 years ago, do you see PlayStation making games available without the console? You would have said, I'm out of my damn mind. But now you can play PlayStation 5 games without a console.
Well, I knew where the technology and everything was heading, so that part, I knew that was going to be a thing. Once I saw the G Cloud, I knew innovation-wise, both guys had to fix it quick, because price-wise, I thought the G Cloud cost too much. I thought the PlayStation Portal Yeah, I thought the PlayStation Portal got the price right.
I don't.
But yeah, $200. It's nothing.
I mean, at the time when it released, it wasn't a cloud device. It was just a remote play device,
Right.
with just an LCD attached onto two controllers.
Yeah.
So I think 150,
but
$149.99 would have been the right price.
It still always had the capabilities into it. It was just a software update.
Yeah, but that's not what it was sold as. So you got to look at it what it was sold as.
Right. What it was sold as was what was it?
A remote play device.
A remote play device.
$200 remote play device. Come on.
And for that it's overpriced. But now in hindsight, for the guy that actually purchased it, he actually purchased a portable PlayStation streaming PlayStation 5 that doesn't need the console.
Yeah. But at
with
the time,
doom and gloom.
No, I agree with that. I'm just saying at the time.
At the time, no.
At the time. I mean, that's why I was mocking it like crazy. $200 for a remote play device that my phone could do anything that I had can pretty much do. Why am I paying $200 for that?
That's why I lost the bet to Tom Henderson. I think it was Tom Henderson I lost the bet to, because I thought they were going to ship a device that would have gave you the ability to localize download.
And I think they're working on that now, though, from what rumors are saying. They're looking at
they're copying Xbox.
That's what I said about 5 minutes ago. All they're doing is following in the footsteps of what Xbox is doing.
That's Mark Cerny now. See, okay, if you're going to talk about the innovations from the PlayStation from the beginning, CD player, and you can say there were CD players that was in the market. You can say that the Jaguar was in the market. You can say Sega CD was in the market. You can say TurboGrafx was in the market. But at the same time, their CD player, they did it. I forgot what was it. Was it 25 times CD player? It was something. They had a faster CD player compared to the competition. But what Nintendo didn't see, Nintendo didn't like the vision that they had, because they saw the load times. They didn't like it. They thought Philips CDI. That's why they went with Philips, because Sony was asking for too much, going from it. But anyway, the sound chip and everything on board of the original PlayStation, the graphics chip and everything, proprietary Sony stuff, was really good. Ken did a great job, and then he did a phenomenal job in the PlayStation 2. And then going to the PlayStation 3, he was swinging for the fences. And like he should, though. Like, I think everyone who makes a great product is supposed to get a mulligan. That's the reason why I feel Machine Games should have a mulligan and they are making their own IP right after the Indiana Jones. Because you're not going to get a chance to go for the fences on a loss. But on a win, you have the opportunity to do that. So, yeah, I can't say in the beginning they were followers, because they weren't. They were innovators. They were tough. They were strong. They was attacking. They were killers. They were diving into the marketplace. After the debacle with the PlayStation 3, they became timid. They became weak. They became followers. And Mark Cerny has been at the helm of that. That's why the PlayStation 2 PlayStation 5 is an unstable box. The PlayStation 4 was a copycat machine. If Xbox didn't have all the missteps that it did, that it would have just buried that thing. But it didn't. And the fact of the matter, Digital Foundry helped dig them out in the beginning with Resolution Gate, and Xbox was coming up short because of the stupid Kinect. So, the bigger... Listen.
Did you know about the Kinect?
Yes.
When Microsoft was actually unveiling it, I've had this told to me from someone who was actually there backstage with them. Sony actually had the PlayStation 4 bundled with the PS toy.
Yeah,
with the PS iToy. And when they saw the reception to Microsoft, they were like, "Nope, 86 that right now."
Well, it was okay. So it was a threefold thing. Always Microsoft goes ahead of the time, ahead at every show. They delayed their show for an hour. They removed the PlayStation Eye out the box with the controllers, the Move controllers. They removed the DRM. If anybody remembers the initial PlayStation 4, when they got it at home, the initial boot up it took over, I think, 4 or 5 hours for it to reload all the BIOS and operating system because it removed the DRM. They were doing the same exact DRM things that Xbox was doing, and that whole how you trade a game and stuff like that was poorly received. They understood exactly what they were supposed to do, and they did it. They also lowered the price by $100 because remember, Xbox did that to them with the 360. So they was like, listen, turnaround is good, is fair play. $100 cheaper, and then you can use 100% of your resources to get your resolution to 900p to 1080p. The games would run better because, listen, the operating systems that they were using was a fantastic piece of tech when it came to the development kits. They really know how to make development kits for the developers. So it was a smart move, and that was checkmate, and that was Shohei. The reason why I'm so mad that how they treated Shohei is they threw him in the slop sink downstairs and told him to worry about indies, where this guy was integral in their level of success. No Shohei, no PlayStation 4, how you trade a game.
He was legendary.
Yes, he still is. He still is. We're not gonna say was, because I still think he still has. I think Xbox really needs to figure out a role for him.
I mean, he's coming there in February, right? As someone said, and he smiled about it. So I'm expecting him there in February, working on the indie section in Xbox.
No, I think he's going to be larger than indie. I think he'll be larger than indie.
I think if he does come to Xbox, I think if he does go to Xbox and he can at least get the wheels moving in Japan, Korea, China. I mean, don't forget,
have him CEO in Asian relations.
Stellar Blade, which by and large is a very good game, became a PlayStation exclusive because of him.
Yeah.
He was the one that made it happen. Sony wasn't interested in that product until he went and play tested it and said, this is definitely something you want on your platform.
Because he has gamer eyes.
Yeah.
He has gamer eyes. Herman Holtz has no gamer eyes. Guerrilla Games is Herman Holtz. He has nepotism eyes. And his eyes will always go for Guerrilla Games or whatever Guerrilla Games has going for it. And I believe that he's out by the next financials because, again, with the Lego thing as well. It's just too much. It's too much loss under his watch and the way that he kind of backstabbed Jim about the building. But Jim got there by ill-gotten games as well. So,
I'm sure you've heard that rumor that Gaming has said, thank you for the £2 super chat. Insider Gaming says PlayStation exclusives coming to Xbox, not just Lego Horizon, which I've been actually arguing with a lot of people lately. They're saying that's got nothing to do with Sony, which I call complete BS.
No, it does. They sign the checks.
They sign. It's their IP, man. Yeah. Come on, it's their IP. You're telling me that? I mean, people often cite, well, look at MLB. Well, who's the developers for MLB? Sony. Who's the publishers? Sony. So you're telling me that if they don't want it to go to Xbox, they can just not turn around to MLB and say, right, go find someone else to build it and develop it and do what you want with it with your own license? Of course they can.
Well, even this part, right? Let's say this. Let's say they don't care, right? Let's say they don't care about it going to Xbox because they're going to get money. How come it's not in PlayStation Plus day and date? Because there's nothing excluding it from doing that.
Because Sony wants their money.
They want the money.
They want the money. They don't care about offering their fans a thing, a service or anything. They want hard money.
It's such a shame on what they used to be to what they are, and people don't understand my vitriol towards them is based on them not being as familiar to me anymore from what I used to consume. Because I say a lot of stupid comments, like somebody will say, well, doesn't he have like a PlayStation 5 and a PlayStation Pro? Yeah, I don't care for them. I don't care for PlayStation in general. Their business practices aren't for me as a consumer. Forget the fandom. Like, take the fandom out of it and look at it as you walking in the store as a consumer. If somebody says, okay, the one game that you purchase and it has Play Anywhere attached to it, has cloud streaming on it, has everything. That one game is so versatile with the one purchase that you do make, opposed to one game being locked off and closed off in an area where it can only be played on this device in this setting at this space. That's so limiting in that thought, where now we're in a time in the digital age where we're moving constantly all over the place. It makes zero sense for you to lock yourself into that ecosystem when this ecosystem is too versatile. It's just as a new age gamer, this is more appealing to me opposed to that.
See, from a consumer point of view, I 100% agree with you. And my sorry if you can hear coughing, it's my son in the background.
No, it's cool. Everybody's coughing.
It's also like everyone in the house is poorly at the moment. I was the last one to get it. But this year, when I looked at my game in review for Xbox, I spent exactly the same amount of time on my Xbox One playing Xbox games as I did on my PC. Roughly about 165 each. Right. And if I couldn't play it in different locations, it would have meant that that whole PC side of gaming, where I actually got an extra like almost 200 hours of gaming, wouldn't have happened. This obviously doesn't include like me also being able to play on my Steam Deck and other places where I've been playing, because like this whole play anywhere really works for me. I also understand how it does devalue and the console, but as a consumer, it does work for me, and I've actually spent way less time playing on my PlayStation this year. Like during the Xbox One days, I spent way more time on my PS4 than I did on my Xbox One. But now, like on the PS5, I barely turn it on. I have a Pro. Got it for well cheap, but I still have a Pro. I wasn't getting pissed on with that one.
I paid full price for it, but well, the fact is, regardless of how I get them, it doesn't really cost me anything. But I can see from that point. But as far as devaluing the brand, I don't think it devalues the brand.
Not the brand.
I think the console, I don't think so either, because they understand that it's a conduit to that certain type of consumer that can only be educated for video games through this means. Like some people are very, very low IQ, right? Very low IQ, very point and click, very point and click type of dudes. They walk in the store, need this, must have this to play this. Those dudes do exist, right? And then explain it to them, hand holding them to tell them, listen, you know that you have this, and when you go over here, you could just take out your phone, you could play this. Like, as I was playing Vampire Survivors on my phone while I was at the DMV, and all the stuff that I got there is everything is right there. That stuff sometimes isn't afforded to you if you don't have that level of education in the tech. Did it devalue my experience when I come home on my X?
See, no. You misinterpreted what I said.
But I know what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying, and I'm going to get to that point, because the hardware to them, they sell it at a loss.
Of course.
Right? So they don't really they don't really have an incentive to sell the hardware. Sony has a huge incentive on selling hardware. So that's why their pipeline and their distribution is geared to getting as much hardware in as many people's hands as possible in order to sell software, which kind of backfired for them this generation. Microsoft's incentive was to build a platform. And after building that platform, where their software company through and through, from beginning to end, and they needed to leverage their ability to have software that can reach every consumer, every corner of the earth. Now, hardware, they've done a phenomenal job in the hardware. I believe that the Xbox Series X and X are the most stable machines that you can run at this moment. And if somebody really cares enough to code for that Series S, as you can see with Indiana Jones, you can get the most out of that machine. Ray tracing, running at 60, You're like, what the hell is this little machine doing? I can't believe it, but it can do it.
No, the Series S is a powerful machine for what, especially for the price point. And it could, it's all about how high you want that resolution to be in order to actually get the most of it. If you're trying to push 1440p, you are going to bottleneck. Now, there are going to be limitations with what you can do, especially as we saw with, what was it, Baldur's Gate 3.
Baldur's Gate 3, yeah.
There are going to be, that was a mistake by Microsoft with putting just not enough RAM in there. They should have kept the RAM. They shouldn't have cut corners on that one.
Well, they should have cut parity.
Or
but
cut
I
parity.
understand. Yeah, I understand. I understand the reason why they kept parity in the beginning. And they did bend to that whole parity thing at the moment now. I understand.
No,
I
totally get
know
why
what
they did it.
what the vision is, but I think it's crazy.
I understand why they did it, but I also think, hindsight is 2020, right?
Yeah.
What we see now may have not been apparent, but then again, they're also paid a lot of money to make forward think these things. But if I was them, what I would have done is basically made it a bit like how the Switch is. Actually, exactly how the Switch is. The games will run native until they can't run native, and they will run through the cloud. But the games will be available under, and that's what they should have done.
That's what they should have done,
Yeah.
exactly.
And then you would have no problem.
Yeah,
because I think Jim summed it up when they said not Jim, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, when they turned around and said that they had to cut the overall world map by 25% because of not enough memory from the Series S.
Yeah. And that's the problem.
But PlayStation are now rumored to be releasing a handheld that will run native PS5 games. Now, if that is technically actually weaker than the Series S, where are we going here? Because if that's going to run in parity with the PS5 base console, then that's actually going to be an even bigger limitation than the Series S ever could be. Because handheld is a handheld.
I don't think that handheld. Well, the handheld can do it. I think the resolution will be 720. They will have a pisser in the box.
The pisser's doing bad right now. I don't think they want to advertise the pisser right now.
It's because they didn't. Okay, they did mandate it to developers that all games had to have some type of pro functionality after November 10th release dates, and
that backfired.
New tech always does that, right? I mean, I don't get down on the tech because I understood what I was getting when I got it. Like I first of all, I knew it wasn't going to be a cure-all for the problems. The cure-all would have been, but what they should have did was up the CPU, and because they dropped the GPU, they downclocked the GPU. If anybody's looking at that thing on the Pro, they downclocked the GPU, so the GPU was actually at a slower speed than the base PlayStation 5. And if they would have just got rid of that bottleneck, but see, then you make the PlayStation 5 base obsolete because now they have to code for the PlayStation 5 base and they have to code for the PlayStation 5 Pro. And they didn't want to run into that issue. So I understand why they left it the same. In hindsight, the Pro wasn't necessary, but they hit a wall with console sales and they wanted to reinvigorate the market because they did have a substantial loss with Concord, which I still believe that the number was 700.
700
at the end of it. I'm talking about in totality.
Oh, right. Okay.
Right. So in totality, I believe it's close to 700 opposed to 400 development costs, is that a third. But then you got to also look into how much they paid for them. And then in severance packages and letting them go and closing stuff down and removing servers, all this other stuff that they paid up for ahead of time. Remember, this was a pillar and they were supposed to be their Star Wars, right? This is supposed to be a pillar in their services. And it turned into the biggest black eye that they've ever had. Like
Star Wars.
And, one thing is, one gaming company is never going to get everything right. Sony has marketing. They can market a turnip and it will sell. Right? They have
the Apple of
marketing.
marketing.
Right. Xbox, Microsoft has software. Quick Resume quickly nullified any advantages that SSD had on the PlayStation. Completely nullified it. Like, it made it no sense. My boy came over to my house. He saw me jump into a game off a Quick Resume, was like, what the hell did you just do? And I said, yeah. And I jumped to another game. He said, yo, wait a second. My PlayStation doesn't do that. And I said, it's called Quick Resume. He said, but I thought my SSD was the fastest SSD. I said, listen, what Quick Resume does is takes a snapshot of the game and it leaves it frozen in the memory, and it's able to access that point immediately from boot up, like with no problem. And I said, what the PlayStation doesn't do is they do a cold boot up, and the SSD, even though it's fast as a quick throughput, is not going to be as fast as a snapshot. It's just impossible, right? I said you're looking at something like faster than a speeding bullet versus the speed of light. Just not going to happen.
No,
so
good.
It's these things that Microsoft and their engineers understood where the disadvantages was with this box, and their mandate in making a stable machine where the GPU and the CPU was stable. There was no fluctuation. When you looked at what Mark Cerny was doing, he made them spend so much money on that damn SSD that they had to take losses in the CPU, underclock it, close some GPU, what compute units. Those same GPU compute units that he closed is the same GPU compute units that he opened up on the Pro. Yeah. Nothing different. It's the same exact GPU. Just opened them up, and I'm just like, damn, man. They fell for the banana in the tailpipe. I'm just a tech fool that I was buying it regardless. So regardless to what, I was going to, whatever you got that's a better iteration, I'm purchasing it. The only reason why I didn't buy that all digital or that Galaxy Edition Series X is because I got enough Series X's around the house, and I'm not getting rid of them. They have no problem. It's not needed.
It wasn't an upgrade in any way. One of my biggest honest issues with Xbox Series X is the memory cards. They are still way overpriced.
Yeah, I love the idea.
I'm not paying over
I hate the
$100
price.
I hate they've been on sale in the US so many times, but not once have they been on sale in the UK. The one terabyte is still £150 here, which is give or take about $180.
Wow.
I'm not paying that much. I mean, it's almost the price of a Series S. During Black Friday, you could have got it. You could have got a Series S for that price here in the UK, and they're charging them like the memory cards are crazy. That is my biggest complaint. I tried to import 2
terabyte. Yeah,
I tried to import it from the US and I couldn't. I mean, the PS3 when you was talking about it earlier, the George Foreman one. Yeah. Back then, when the pound was really strong against the dollar, I actually imported it from a company in the US, and I got it for like £220, and then I paid £30 customs. So back then, when it was selling for like £650 in the UK, because of how strong the pound was, I actually ended up getting my one for £250, which was a damn steal. Even the PSP, I remember importing for like £150 because of how strong the pound was at the time.
Yeah,
but but £150 for just 1 terabyte. I think they got that horribly wrong.
And
they're not fixing it.
No, of course they can't. It's already too late. They bet on. Well, they didn't care to. They wanted to, give it to Seagate, and then they gave it to Western Digital and whoever else wanted to make it. And opposed to what PlayStation wanted you to do was just break your joint open and do surgery. I was like, nah, I don't really care for that. Well, yeah, it's one screw, but at the same time, it's too many good jokes that I got for it. So I was like, nah.
The memes were brilliant.
I didn't feel like putting on my scrubs and getting anesthesia ready for my
saw
PlayStation
some
5.
weird videos at the time, man. People getting like all hazmat suit and stuff, getting like proper like one screw out.
Yeah, yeah,
The
people saying
memes were great.
clear. Like, nah.
And the best part I loved about it
They were
was
smarter, yeah.
we're all joking about with it and making fun of the situation because it's just funny. Everyone's having fun, and then you've got the PlayStation fans actually genuinely thinking we're serious about the whole thing.
Well, they low IQ individuals, so
it just made it
I don't
even
worry
more
about them.
funnier for me.
Yeah, they just. I mean, you can get anything past a low IQ individual, so it doesn't matter. A lot of times that they feel that I'm real serious about half the stuff that I talk about, where 90% of it is just jokes. But they really upset with me because I say hashtag no PlayStation 6.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, and the majority of the time I'm right on some stuff. But the only reason why I say that, and this is how low IQ they are. I say that because I believe that handheld is going to come out in 2027. Mm-hmm. From their own mouth, they said that the PlayStation 6 won't be ready until 2030. All right, cool. That's cool. 2027, I believe that handheld takes off in such a way, and they're able to be versatile. They have a dock. They're able to do it that way. They're able to save money. They're making money right off the rip. That the PlayStation 6 never comes to fruition because they don't need it. The market I see changes from here to there, changes so dramatically that you won't recognize the gaming space in a second. I just watched a slide. Well, that was 2 weeks ago. I had got sent a slide with Nvidia's what is that thing called?
Which one?
The new Nvidia.
The Ultra CPU?
No. It's this it's something that everybody is going to use in a second. Okay, so it's the Jetson Orion.
Oh yeah.
The Nano Super.
Yep.
The world's most affordable generative AI computer.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this thing is like that big, right? Like that big. Now, a minute ago, I reported that they had AMD and Nvidia work together on the new stuff that's going inside the server blades for Xbox, right? Well, for Microsoft into the Azure cloud system. That is going to supplant what is in there now with the Series X's, right? That's inside the server blades. Where are they going with the GPU and the CPU? What do the machines look like that they're bringing to the market? And I get conflicting data. The data is that they can go the 3DO route, in which they release the specs for the next Xbox hardware device and allow a multitude of manufacturers to produce their own devices that are an Xbox.
That was one thing I actually thought about, a revision Xbox.
Right.
Microsoft will release like their base version and then
Right.
give out everything. Give out to other manufacturers. This is the base you need to do in order for the games to work on the Xbox console. But if you want to make a super powered Xbox, you can actually do that. That was something I actually thought about and we've spoken about before.
Yeah, the same thing that 3DO started, and then you saw them, with the Gold Star Edition and all that other stuff, and then Steam took that one step further with the Steam machines and had multiple different SKUs with the Alienware version of the Steam machine, and that, but it was poorly marketed, and I believe that Microsoft is able to market it in a better, for instance, because of the Windows 12 Xbox integration. Now, the Windows 12 Xbox integration with the Xbox user interface.
Do you think it's going to be that late?
Yeah.
When is Windows 12 coming? Because by
2026.
26. Because I've been following the news with the whole sandbox for Xbox working on Windows, and I know that they've got an alpha working on Windows 11.
Yeah.
It's not clean.
No, it's not.
From someone I've spoken to, but it is working, but it's still kind of rough around the edges. Not everything works. I mean, it's essentially what they're doing is for anyone that's got Windows 11, how you've got Android working on there now, when you try to boot up an APK from the Play Store, it boots it up in its own sandbox, in its own instance. And that's essentially what they want to do with Xbox for Windows. So all your back catalog games and everything will just work off your Xbox. At that point, that's when I will comfortably say, this is an Xbox. Because my back catalog is important to me. I may not play it much, but I've also spent a shitload of money on there that I would like to also play. And I think that needs to become soon.
So when Cyberbond tells you that, they're future-proofing the Xbox, the way they view Xbox is completely different. To see, because what they don't understand, the way they view Windows, they view Windows as a platform, because it is.
It is.
So when you look at Xbox, they look at Xbox as a platform, and it's all encompassed. And if anybody was listening to whatever Satya said, he said AI, he said cloud, he said services, he said machine, he said Xbox. He said all of that stuff is how they view the platform, Game Pass. All of that stuff is all in one. It's like a burger. You have the lettuce, tomatoes, you have the meat, and you have the buns. Without any of that stuff, you really don't have a burger. So a traditional burger comes with these things. What they're trying to do is take that burger and put that burger within the Windows ecosystem. Now, when it's in Windows 12 and you just have a boot up with your controller and the Xbox prompt pops and your games just play, everyone who's upgraded to that Windows 12 with the operating system of Xbox in it, that's 90% of PC gamers at this moment, they all become an instant install base for the Xbox. That's the absolute checkmate in where they're trying to take the Xbox brand. Well, it's not even trying, where they're going with it.
I see that, but the biggest challenge that they have, just turn this off because it's going to kill me. The biggest challenge that they have is getting people to go over to their Xbox store. Now, for me,
oh yeah, well, they're still not finished with that
yet. Oh, you were getting there.
Yeah, no, I said they're still not finished with that thing yet. I mean, okay, they have their. All right, remember when they were supposed to come out in June?
Yeah.
And you know about the trials and the stuff like that that's going on with Apple and all that other stuff that's holding everything back. So so they're doing little revisions with this thing in mind, because they're trying to save money. You're saying to yourself, to a $1 trillion, $3 trillion company trying to save money, but I guess the overall win, and they must absolutely lose before they can actually just say, you know what, to hell with it, just push forward with it. Because that stuff is internally, people's been using it over at Microsoft this whole time. That whole Xbox store, or because they did the integration. They already started the integration with the anticipation that the trial would be over. The same way they thought that the trial would be over for ABK, and it was hung out to dry for 2 years.
It's still going. It's still going. I mean, that's part of the reason why I still feel Microsoft is still in shackles, because until that appeal case is over, even if it is a Hail Mary, there is still that chance that that preliminary injunction can be granted and force Activision and Blizzard in King to divest. I mean, and that's the big concern that Microsoft still has. They don't fit. No one believes that it's going to happen, but the Ninth District Court is refusing to roll on it. Now that Lena Khan has been John Cena out the window, hopefully they will, put this thing to a rest and just let the gaming world move on, because Microsoft, I still feel, even today, is still restricted by that. They can't.
They are. The reason why they move in the manner that they move, and people are trying to say they're not assertive as they want to be, because there's still legal action happening.
Yeah.
They're doing this kind of flying in the face of the legal action, to be honest with you, and what they're doing at the moment. But this is the reason why Satya Nadella texts Trump and says congratulations, when he becomes president. This is the reason why Microsoft donates X amount of dollars to the Trump campaign. It's a reason why Elon spins his wheels, turns back around because he has a problem with OpenAI and understands that with him aligning himself with Trump, he can actually target OpenAI and probably try to sink Sam Altman and the team. There's absolutely political reasons that are.
Oh yeah,
We're in a different era now, right? As far as gamers go, we have to be more astute and more aware of where our alliances are, where we want certain people to win in order to have something happen. Now, me personally, I don't care who's president. I don't really think it benefits me in certain areas. Yeah, it benefits certain stuff, and as a homeowner, it benefits certain things and is in certain tax brackets. But I'm not the 5%er. I do not have the upper 5% of income where all those tax breaks actually happen. It doesn't really happen for me at all. I'm still at the bottom of the food chain, regardless to who was in place, right? So I make too much for the Democrats, and I make too little for the Republicans. So actually, I'm just a guy existing. But at the same time, I do know certain people are going to put certain people in place to allow certain things to happen. If the Democrats win, then Lena's still in place. If the Republican wins, she's not. Well, guess what happened? The Republican team won, and guess who's out? And guess acquisition season is still happening. And I honestly believe there's going to be a lot more purchasing once this guy gets in office, and once that guy gets out, and once that case gets dropped, more stuff gets allowed to get purchased. Dude, you're going to see an 800-pound gorilla like you've never seen an 800-pound gorilla before. And if dudes say, hey, man, he's not swinging, whatever, outside like he's supposed to, you have the right people in place. Like, you really don't know. Satya is power hungry. Absolutely power hungry. And the fact of the matter is, the stuff that he's done with OpenAI, you don't give OpenAI $10 billion to have a seat on the board, then give them access to all of Bing, because, Elon thought by buying Twitter, because that was a block move, buy Twitter, because Twitter was giving OpenAI all the algorithms and large language models from Twitter. He barred them from it.
Yep.
So where else are they going to get their language model in order for ChatGPT to actually grow into where it's supposed to be? Microsoft. Bing isn't really working out. Everybody uses Google, uses some other search engine, right?
Bing is terrible.
Exactly.
I've tried using Bing. Steve in chat, I was talking to him about it. I used it for 2 months just to test it out while I was doing that whole Microsoft Rewards thing, just to search. And it would take me, I worked out in the end, it would take me, on average, about anywhere between 3 to 7 searches before I found what I was looking for.
Found what you wanted.
And if I went to Google, one search.
Instantly.
It's, until they can actually fix, and I know there's like a bunch of lawsuits open at Google right now where they're trying to sue them for their search engine by making it more competitive and whatnot. But at the end of the day, I can't even blame Google for being good. It's on everyone else for being terrible.
Exactly. But see, at the end of the day is now that you go and you use Bing as the language model for ChatGPT, there's a reason why Satya can say, oh, yeah, we own the IP. Like, dudes don't understand the pieces that are being moved all across the boards, right? So you don't understand that the reason why OpenAI isn't publicly traded and is privately traded is because Sam has things in place where they gobble up with other people's money smaller AI entities. Now, I pretty much can say that the next Xbox will have a heavy lean into AI.
Yeah, I can see that.
Who's providing the chipset? Because they gave money to IBM, they gave money to AMD, they gave money to Nvidia. And they gave money to Intel. Intel just dropped their GPUs, which I thought was pretty cool GPUs, price-wise, and what they're able to deliver. Fantastic stuff. So you look at it and say, this is where I come up at a loss, because this one has been the most shrouded in mystery. And as far as, hold on, my son, what's up? Cut it out with the noise. How are
you? Kids be kids, man.
How's he doing? Yeah, take him outside. He just got back from school. Yeah, take the dogs outside.
My one's over there playing on the Series S right now.
That's what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to enjoy his life, because you worked hard, so he's able to enjoy his leisure time.
Yep.
So I don't know where the hardware is coming from, and I don't lean on any of my alliances or my allegiances in that building to ask, because I live in wonderment. I like to find out stuff on my own. I like to do my research on my own. I like to see the footprints, because I always follow the money, and the money always tells you exactly where things are going to be. And I like to surprise them with what I gathered without anybody's knowledge and present it to them, and to see their face after I do so. And that's when we have the conversations after the fact, but after the hardware is delivered. And this is the first time that I can honestly say I'm completely baffled with where and how the hardware will be built, coming to where we are. I knew about the Series X and S. I knew that they were going to have a smaller model, the entry model, if you will, to get the broke boys, because they felt that the PlayStation 4 only got its prominence because of the price differential between that and Xbox One. So I understand that. And I understand that they made sure that they had a robust one for gamers that was for the hardcore gamers. So I don't know what their strategy is going forward. I know that handheld is a strategy. Go ahead.
So, as we know, especially in the Far East, stationary machines are no longer as popular as they used to be.
Yeah, not at all.
Handheld is the way forward, whether it's a mobile phone or it's a Steam Deck or it's the GeForce, whatever it is. It's over there, mobile gaming. Sorry, one second.
Yeah, no problem. Listen, you don't see me drinking water too? I understand. What everybody's gonna understand is this is the holiday time where everybody's sick, and you're hugging your families and you're coughing their face, and everybody goes home with a little bit of that special holiday flu. And you pass it on.
Yeah, straight. None. So yeah, the handheld will appeal to a lot of people.
Right.
And I think going forward, that's going to be the base consoles for everyone. PlayStation and Xbox. Cloud will be the future. And PC will be the one that brings everyone together in terms of hardware. That's what I see going on.
Quite possibly. Quite possibly. I know they're going to have a dedicated machine. The dedicated machine might be the hardcore machine.
I think the next one is going to be the last one.
I think the next one is the last one for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking ahead of what's after the next one. The next one, the next generation is coming, will definitely be a dedicated box. But from that point on, I think the main reach will be cloud.
I think the next one is the last one for Xbox. I think this one is the last one for the PlayStation. And I never get into why, besides the fact that that they're broke. Someone dude said them selling their record high stocks, $21 is record high stocks. Okay. All right. So now that we grounded that, and the low IQ individuals in the back, I want you guys in the back to hear it. $21 is the high for the stock. If you gave a damn about the Sony stock, you would, instead of buying a Pro, you would have kept your PlayStation 5 and you would have took your $700 and brought $700 worth of stock, right? If you cared. But you don't, because that is in its lifetime. They don't sell TVs like they're supposed to anymore. Why? Because everybody else is eating their lunch, right? transistors, yeah, they still working in transistors. The money that they was making in the life insurance policies, kids nowadays don't give a damn about life insurance policies.
Nope.
And they well, the majority of them is in Eastern, like Far East. So
even mobile phones, Sony phones are pretty much extinct now, right?
exactly. Where are they making money? All right, so they're making money off of music catalogs and movies. They're talking about selling the number one IP that
I was
they
about to
have
get to that, but that makes
back
sense.
to Marvel. Yes, because they ran it into the ground already.
Not only that, I'm not sure if you're aware, but they have to make a Spider-Man movie. I don't know exactly how many years,
Right.
but they need to make it. There's I think it's like over 3 or 6 years or 5 years, whatever it is. If they don't make a Spider-Man movie within that period, it reverts back. So whether they actually want to make a movie or not, right now, they have to make a movie in order to keep that license. I mean, they've already been.
Well, they do have a movie already. They have the Into the Spideyverse movie already done. That movie's done. They just refuse to put it out right now because I guess it holds leverage with the sale with a done movie, opposed to what they just did to Craven, what they just did to Morbius.
Craven was. I mean, that film got received really badly.
I'm gonna go watch it. I'll probably go watch it today. Regardless to what, they took these IPs that is part of the Spider-Man verse. Now, whoever gets them, like if Marvel gets them, Marvel is going to have to reintroduce Craven, reintroduce Morbius, reintroduce Madam Web, do all of these things and fix it because of what Sony did in initializing it. That's the reason why Tom Hardy's version of Venom didn't have Spider-Man's logo on his chest like it was supposed to. It just never did. The reason why it didn't have it because they didn't attach it to that Spider-Man in any sense. And when that movie was going to go in that direction, everybody thought that the last one, The Last Dance, was going to go in that direction. It did an about face and went that way. You saw what it did. He came there, he bottled the stuff up, and we never got a chance to see that at all. So movies without the main IP is gonna fail. Sony they had fools go with the first initial Venom, and they got overzealous and they did a bunch of stuff. But I think they devalued the IP in the movie sense. Spider-Man is always going to be a strong IP regardless to what.
Oh yeah,
but
kids will always love it.
Right, but the value proposition with the villains has now been downgraded. And how does Marvel fix it? Marvel has its own problems with all the reshoots that they got going on with the Falcon, Captain America, New World Order. That stuff is looking kind of shaky and it's dropping in February. So again, they purchased that. They're selling IPs. I know they had a problem when they sold back Kojima's Death Stranding. And in selling back Death Stranding, it signal boosted the whole stuff that I had going forth with them being financially in a precarious space where they're only releasing 2 AAA titles a year. Right? And the games that they are releasing aren't selling in the numbers that they wanted to sell in. They wanted Astro Bot to sell way more. It just didn't.
Which is a shame. I mean,
yeah, I love the game.
I think Astro Bot was a phenomenal game.
Yeah.
And when I reviewed it, I gave 2 review scores for it. I said, if you aren't a PlayStation
with
fan,
Mario or without Mario?
No, I said if you're a PlayStation fan with the nostalgia,
yeah. Right?
I gave it a 93. But I said if you're playing it as a standalone who doesn't care about PlayStation at all and are just playing it as a platformer, I gave it an 87. Because I think the nostalgia actually added a lot to
Boosts it. Yeah.
You know, those levels with Uncharted and whatnot, Ape Escape. Like, I've been playing PlayStation games since the PS1 days.
Right.
So seeing Ape Escape remade in today's aesthetic.
That was so much fun.
It was great, right?
Yeah.
it was like really well done.
That was one of my favorite games, Ape Escape.
And so that nostalgia to me added an easy 6 points to bring it to that 93. But if none of that matters to you, then it's still a very solid game at 87. I thought.
Yep.
That was my overall review of it. But I think Astro Bot proved that there just isn't the demand for those games at all. 1 million, 1.5 million just isn't enough, in my opinion, to make a company turn around and say yes.
Sony's inability to understand the market shift. There's 25 million PlayStations that haven't been turned on.
That is correct.
Where are they?
In the scalpers' warehouses.
All right. So, okay. So you're looking at that 25 million, right? So now you got to minus it out from the total. And let's just say, you got 30 something million out there, 35 million out there. Minus
was it 25 million? I thought it was 25% of that 60
No, it's 25 million.
It's
25 million.
I thought I read 25%.
Because think about the numbers. Let's say 25 million. The max never purchased out of that 35 million. You have never had a 35 million game sold on that PlayStation console at all. I mean, most of you probably would get a 10.
I mean, even Spider-Man did it, right? At 11 million.
No, well, Spider-Man 2 was kind of bad.
Bad. I mean, the overall.
And I'm talking about just PlayStation 5, not the crossover bucks with the PlayStation 4 dudes who actually spend. Those dudes actually buy. I gotta give respect to them PlayStation 4 dudes who's holding on to them boxes. You suckers is holding us back. But I blame you guys. But I can't stand them. I wish they would have been cut them off.
They should have. I mean, I've had this conversation before, and people call me an elitist for it. But I think the biggest problem this gen has been the fact that the back support for Xbox One and the PS4 has really held the generation going forward.
Fortnite.
I mean, Fortnite is Fortnite.
Blame Fortnite. Blame every game. Blame Call of Duty. Blame every last one of these games of service that still caters to these low-brow, low-vibrational, broke boys that's still on these last-gen consoles, that's still eating on the bare minimum, that has so many spike dips that's getting kicked out of my games. Let's blame those guys. Because those are the ones that's actually holding us back. We don't get a chance to get really good games.
What do I have thousands of? I don't know.
Yeah, he has thousands of low IQ individuals that follow him. That's what you're trying to tell me.
My audience is really high IQ. Maybe a few of them, but you know.
No, I saw a couple of low IQ dudes in your chat right now.
They come in and go.
Yeah, you talking about the ones that saying like Xbox is dead.
Mate, they come in to try to trigger me all the time, every stream, and I've got no time for them. They act like I don't have a PlayStation or something, and like what they're saying to me actually affects me.
Well, they don't want you to have choice. They don't want you to choose something else. Like I have a PlayStation. I have every PlayStation machine ever made. I have a PSP Go. All right.
I didn't get that. That's the only one I've even got. Look, let me show you something.
What you got?
Do you know what this is?
What's that? Yeah, the TV.
Yeah, I've even got the PlayStation TV. Yeah, it's just sitting here. I've got the Go. I didn't bother with because the positions of the actual analog sticks,
the aerodynamics of it.
It just didn't work for me.
Around that time, I had a Sidekick, so the Sidekick flip out.
Yeah.
So it did the same thing, like flip out. I was like, yo, it's dope. I love it. And I had two of them. I had the silver one and I had the black one. The black one was the hardest one to find because that was import. But the silver one, I got. Oh no! It was the white one and the black one because that's when they had that campaign. What do you like, white or black? It was really racial. It was really bad. And I have both of them. But yeah, no, that machine. I've messed with them when they were aggressive, when they were the underdog fighting to get to the top, and when they actually got there, they got arrogant. That's cool. That's what you're supposed to do. But then 360 and Xbox One filled that void I had for Sega, and I remember buying my Dreamcast and saw Windows CE on the side of it. And that's the first time I even thought about operating system and knew it had a power PC inside and understood what was like the tech inside the box, or trying to find out what that meant, because at that period of time I really didn't care. I just purchased my consoles and understood that they played games. And I think the Super Nintendo made me respect the sound chip and understood that was made by Sony. And I was like, oh, okay, because I know the Hitachi chip inside that Genesis wasn't nowhere close to the sound chip that was in the Super Nintendo. So I started getting intrigued by tech. And when Windows made its appearance with the Dreamcast, and I thought that was probably the superior machine, and they lost, you know what it is. Oh my, the two influences I love to troll the most. Silverback. I must have you blocked. I never see you. I don't know who you are.
I like them. I like them when they come.
Oh yeah. God bless. I don't know. I must have you blocked. I don't see anything that you do.
But yeah. When the Dreamcast was on its way out, the original Xbox was supposed to be the next Dreamcast.
Yep.
Microsoft and Sega were about to go into a partnership to release the next console, and it was kind of going to be a kind of collaboration between Sega and thing. And it was in Japan, it was going to be called the Dreamcast 2, whereas in America, it's going to be called the Xbox, and the rest of Europe is going to be called the Xbox. But that's why Shenmue 2 was released only on Xbox when it came to America instead of the Dreamcast. It never really made it onto the Dreamcast over there. But it's a shame that the collaboration never happened, and whatever the issue was, I'm assuming Microsoft wanted to buy them as usual. I'm assuming Microsoft wanted to go and buy them, and they said no, and that's what broke down.
Mark Cerny was always the problem. If you look at the downfall of Sega, Mark Cerny was there. Look at it.
Well, I mean, the downfall of Sega had a lot of things, right?
Well, American in Japan, mixed marketing,
it was all PlayStation related.
Fighting, and then PlayStation decided that they wanted to stick their foot down Sega's throat. So yeah.
Well, no, I mean, they bought Psygnosis. Yeah. They bought Psygnosis, which was, Psygnosis at the time controlled 40% of the gaming, had 40% of the gaming market. In terms of studios, they were bigger than Activision, Blizzard, King combined. They were like Embracer
that
Group.
Was working. Yeah, he was
they
working
had like
with
40% of
Psygnosis.
it.
Yeah.
And that's the Psygnosis Group is now the Liverpool studio for Sony. They rebranded it, but they bought 40% of the market. That left Sega with very little. And then EA basically saw how PlayStation was more popular because it was getting all of the V rallies and the stuff like that. So, and I think there was some form of breakdown in communication between cost of porting the games over to Dreamcast. And once EA turned around and said no to Dreamcast, it was pretty much over. I remember
that's when Sega actually had the brilliant idea to put out games for $19.99. And the games was actually pretty good, but that's when they lost the NFL license. I mean, it was a diabolical thing. Yeah, it was a diabolical consortium to push them out, and they got pushed out. But they're back.
Oh yeah, they're doing better than ever now as a third-party studio.
Yeah, don't worry, PlayStation gonna do the same thing. It's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be absolutely beautiful.
Oh, the ponies are in full force in the chat at the moment.
Of course, I bring them out. Of course.
I mean, they keep crying that Xbox is dead, yet they also want to play. I mean, I think I read KGN Gamer. He said that he has never seen so much hatred towards a game with Intergalactic, and I'm like, man, where have you been for the past 2-3 years with Starfield?
No, I've seen. No. Honestly, Starfield hate is just the fact that you just can't play it.
Oh, I know, but what I'm saying is, where have you been where have you been?
No, the last game that had that level of hate was Last of Us 2. And they did the same exact thing. No, they did the same thing. They leaked the whole script like they just did with Intergalactic. They leaked the whole script of everything. It's a problem that they have with Neil Druckmann, with his personal viewpoints on other things. And somebody told me, because I had to take a picture. I live in such a vacuum that I'm so like occupied with the stuff that I have to do that I really don't concern myself with somebody else's business. So I didn't understand exactly where they were coming from. They was calling him all types of derogatory names and stuff like that, and telling me stuff that he did. But when him and I had the conversation, because we presented the award to him at the New York City Game Awards for his lifetime achievements, and me and him having a conversation, we were talking about, and he wanted to tell me about the game that he was working on, and I just didn't care to. I said I just don't want to hear about it, because I don't want to be anybody's vault for their secrets. Don't tell me about it. I don't want to hear about it. But we were talking about comic books. We were talking about Comic-Con. I was talking about some statues, showing him some stuff, and we talked about the TV show about The Last of Us. I did have a couple of questions with him with the Last of Us 2, because that is probably my best all time game, and I
The Last
realized,
of Us 2.
yes,
I thought
and
that was
it's so.
great as well.
It's just so many different layers to the game.
There was.
If anybody really looks at it, and the reason why he did certain things to show you things later, and it I think that's the last game that's going to attack certain phobias in individuals that they have, because these guys, it has to be a phobia for them that they have with topics. And I seen the vitriol that they had with this intergalactic immediately when they showed a female of different orientation
Oh, Ellie.
shaving her head.
Oh, with the intergalactic.
Yeah. And then, it was just, I'm like, damn, you're not marveling at the cinematics that you're seeing in engine on the screen. Then the ingenious nature of broke ass Sony telling him go fund your game, and he funds it with Adidas, Porsche, and Sony placement there as well. And I'm looking to see what else placement that they're gonna
I
have
was
there
too. I was
to
too.
get the game over, right?
I
Like,
was looking at what else are they gonna show?
what else are you gonna? I even slowed it down to look at the board to see, like, did I miss something? Was Daily News part of this push? Like,
I had to
because
look
he had
twice just to
yes,
see if that was Porsche there. And I was like,
it
okay.
was.
And then I saw Adidas, and I was like,
Yeah,
damn.
and see, the bigger thing about Porsche is they don't lend their name to anything, right? So if you get it, they even had their own video game because they didn't want their game associated with Lamborghini and Ferrari, right? So that they had a Porsche game. It's these things. I'm like, wow, he really went out and got that bag, and he probably got that bag. He leveraged it off of the TV stuff because he was very integral in the TV stuff. The vitriol that game got is the same amount of vitriol part 2 got. And I was just like, damn. So it's a nail thing. Now, me personally, I'm in an echo chamber when it comes to Todd. I think people are more upset with Todd because Todd games usually go all over the place. And the fact that they didn't get a chance to play this seminal release with Starfield, of course, these the low IQ individuals are going to say, oh, the game sucks. But at the same time saying, well, the whole slate is coming over and I'll be playing Starfield soon
See,
on the PlayStation 5
I don't
Pro.
get that at all because, I mean, this actually segues into a topic that I wanted to talk about with
Talk about it.
what is it, Jez Corden, when he said,
Right.
Xbox has no exclusives, and at best it's going to be timed. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Jez Corden is, he's well versed in his context,
Yep.
but he's not always right. He's got a lot of things wrong. He's definitely got more right than wrong. So, the guy did earn his credibility as a journalist. So I'm not going to shit on him because I think he's a really nice guy. And he likes to troll as well. And that's the bad part. He trolls so much that you can't tell what he's actually talking about is real or not. But for me, there is no indication that the whole slate is going. And
just case by case.
If I was Microsoft at the very beginning, and I said this way back when as well, that when they're buying ABK, just announce all their games multi-plat. It's a big platform. just announced a multiplat, Game Pass day one, multiplat. But then you see stuff like Outer World, which does get you. I mean, that one was weird because they came out openly a couple of years ago and said it was a console exclusive. And without coming and addressing the community, which I think they had a duty of care to do, right? They should have done something, maybe like a dev direct or something to discuss why they've taken this approach. Like, to me, it follows on what Phil said. Any legacy title will appear multi-platform. It only applies to new IP or games that have never appeared on other platforms. So I always had an inkling that Outer Worlds would go. In all honesty, I completely forgot that Outer Worlds was exclusive. But when Phil said, we want this to be this way so people can see that this game that you're playing over here is freely available on Xbox via Game Pass for a fraction of the cost, and they're hoping to get people coming that way, how do they expect to do that when Sony is advertising it available only on PlayStation 5? Now, over the weekend, I was actually in Bexley Heath.
Right.
And I think I spoke about this in my video as well. I went into a video game store that we have over here. And a bunch of kids on the left were looking at pre-ordering Doom for 2025.
Right.
And they were saying it was exclusive to PlayStation 5 because that's what they saw on the internet.
Yeah.
And Microsoft has already failed in their perception to... I mean, if that's the audience that they're trying to capture to bring over by saying, hey, you can pay $70 here or play it day one as part of Game Pass.
See, that's not part of the advertisement in the conversation.
But that's what he said.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
I'm going by what he said.
It's too many chefs in the kitchen. Right? To be honest with you. Because it's too many people talking at one time and it's too many messages being heard, but they're all saying the same thing, but they're all saying something different. Right? They're all saying the same thing, but they're all saying something different. So then you have this mixed messaging going across. And I told you they weren't good at marketing at all. Absolutely not.
Never have.
Because exactly. This is the reason why PlayStation is king when it comes to marketing. They can sell you a potato. And they have with a fast SSD. Right? So the problem is I don't hear anything that happens in PlayStation Plus, even though I have it. I don't hear anything that happens in PlayStation Plus. But why don't you hear anything that happens in PlayStation Plus? Because I'm too occupied with my thought process here. Microsoft doesn't realize people that pay attention to PlayStation, they're going to pay attention to whatever PlayStation says. So if PlayStation says PlayStation only or play it on PlayStation, then the zeitgeist in their head is, I can only get it here.
But why doesn't Microsoft mandate, if you are going to advertise our games, you put down all the platforms it's available for? They can easily say, we want you to do this. And if Sony turn around and say no, then just you don't advertise it at all.
Remember I told you about that 800-pound gorilla? I think after this whole FTC stuff and all this stuff goes down, I think you see a different Microsoft.
That's what I've been saying all along.
Right. Because right now they're playing
despite
the nice guy. Yeah, well, they know in the short term they're gonna irritate the hell out of you. But as an Xbox gamer, what really changed for you?
No, nothing changes for me. I just want. So look, as everyone in my channel knows, I'm an agnostic gamer.
Right.
I game on PC, PlayStation, not so much Switch, even though I have one. I play my games anywhere I can play games. I don't really. Oh, I'm gonna get whatever offers me the best value. I will go there to play my games.
Facts.
So at the end of the day, I'm loyal to my wallet, not to $1 trillion company or $1 billion company. I'm always, I've got bills to pay at the end of the day. But so for me, in terms of like having a lot of skin in the game, like yourself, where you've got everything, it doesn't really affect us. If Stellar Blade is exclusive to the Stadia platform, if you want to play it and Stadia was alive, you'd just go get Stadia and you'll play.
What's so sad is I still got Stadia controller.
I do. I like Stadia. But you get the point I'm making.
Live. I still got an on live controller.
But you get the point I'm making. You will go wherever the games are going to play them. If it's a good game, you'll go, right? But there are people out there that don't have that opportunity, where financially they're not in that position. And so when I talk about stuff and think about stuff, I always find myself putting myself into their position where they can only afford one platform. And if they've picked an Xbox to play, Microsoft has to make it where
cater to them.
It's catered to them, and that they are doing their due diligence and supporting the people who is showing their faith. Now, like I've been telling my community, with the cloud system,
hobby. This is a hobby. This is not a handheld situation. This is not. They owe absolutely nothing to you. All right, this is a point of purchase thing. This is the problem that entitlement fest is.
But they
this
do.
Weird. No, I don't think so.
If I bought my console on the basis of Outer Worlds being exclusive to the Xbox console,
then sell it. If you thought,
but I've just spent over £400 hypothetically.
Right. Put it up on eBay. Get it back. I mean, this is the only hobby. Whereas if you feel today they didn't live up to your expectations, put it on eBay. And then,
it's not so easy.
Why?
Because you've got your whole back catalog on there. If you've been following the brand.
Oh, so you talk about digital now.
Well, Xbox is digital now.
Well, now, I mean, I got 500 to 600 360 games upstairs. I got an issue with
all of mine, even from the 360 days, are all digital. I've been ever since digital came in, I've pretty much I've been going full digital.
You're locked in, so you're that guy.
I'm that guy,
yeah. So you're locked in. So okay, so now that you said I'm locked in completely, there's nothing you can do. It's a bad marriage for you then. If you look up and you find out that she's cheating in the manner that she's cheating, and if you view it that way,
not so much cheating.
At least let her give you a back rub.
See, that's not so much. See, I don't. That's not even the point I'm trying to get across here.
Talk to me.
I want them to come out and say what's what.
They're not,
and they won't do it.
You know why?
Because right? Because they don't know themselves.
No, they do know. They know everything. Everything that they've been saying, like I told you, they all saying the same thing, but they all saying something different, right? They do know. They know exactly what's happening. The problem is the media doesn't know. And they have to treat every game as a game now. Because we don't know if that game is going over. I was surprised that they said Outer Worlds 2 early, but I understand why. They got ahead of it. They learned their lesson. What you're saying is, excuse me, them learning. Indiana Jones, they made the deal. It was exclusive to Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
They changed that after the fact, but we thought Indiana Jones was exclusive. They announced it at Gamescom.
I mean, I knew
going to PlayStation. Yeah. Well, we, some people we know. And they announced this thing. And now it's like, man. Well, you don't have that same problem right now with Outer Worlds. You're not going to walk around feeling like this, because in the beginning you did, though, because they did announce that it was exclusive on the Xbox platform. But that was before they owed us money, and they thought that ABK deal was going to be done. Back then, it's not. The deal took too long. They owe too much money. They have been losing money hand over fist. Now it's time to pay up.
No, I totally get that. I totally get that. Again, but I'm looking at it from...
Stuff is going to happen.
And from my point of view, it makes no difference.
Right.
I'm looking at it from the person who decided to devote. I just feel like they are being short-ended. If they knew that this was going to be the direction that they were going, they would have been better off with going another direction.
Well, if you go ahead and go and jump on a PlayStation if you choose, and you'll figure it out when some games miss you, some games don't show up. Don't listen to anybody telling you that the whole slate is going.
It's not.
Don't be a fool.
It's not
to believe that is happening, because that's not happening.
Do you know how much money it's going to cost them to do that?
it's just not happening.
It's not feasibly possible.
It's just not happening. So the ignorance in those statements, it's just not happening.
I mean, even Matt Booty said, right? It's all dependent on what they can do, when they can do, and how much it will cost. Yeah, if they see that the cost, if the cost and the return isn't going to be, it ain't happening. It's not
going to happen.
So I've never believed that this whole slate is going. I know there's talks about Fable now, and you see
no, there's only one person
Donut Gaming saying that
it's
Fable
only
5 is
one
going.
Person that said that.
Donut Gaming is saying it as well now, though.
Well, he's following off of Jez ass.
Of course.
Right? So it was just Jez who said it, and Jez was talking about the cost. And a lot of times Jez is talking from looking. He's not talking from something that he heard sometimes. Sometimes he's just giving his opinion. And this is why I'm not a leaker. I choose not to be that. Like, that's not my thing. I don't care to get information and leak information. None of that stuff.
That's why
my stuff is my opinion.
When I got the Indiana Jones information,
right?
I got it. I think like
we
2 days before. I told my Discord. Discord. On the day, it's going. You're going to hear it. You're going to hear it at the Game Awards. I said it's going to be coming up. I told them openly, like it was a day or two before. No one believed me. Everyone thought I was fake. But I gave them a forewarning. But I didn't make a video on it because I didn't want to.
We knew it a week before because we had a closed interview with Machine Games, and we were under NDA, and we knew it a week before.
I had someone tell me.
When anybody sees the video, because they was in NDA, they were in that because we had developer questions.
Mm-hmm.
So when anybody sees that video of me and Attic doing the thing,
mm-hmm.
I didn't believe they were going to be that stupid to announce it then. I know why, because I was explained after the fact why.
You guys.
Right? So I know why. But I still felt that
it was the bad
you
place.
could have announced it. It was a perfect place in the sense that it was explained to me.
Biggest exposure.
Europe is PlayStation's playground.
Yeah.
Pre-orders went up immediately.
No, like I said, it's the biggest exposure.
Right. See, so
from
this
a business
is where it has
sense,
to happen.
That's why it happened.
That part.
But it shouldn't have been a one last thing. Come on, we've got to agree on that one. It shouldn't have been a one last thing.
Listen, I don't want it to be announced ever. We don't have to agree on anything. Especially with that guy, especially with the biggest pony standing on stage, just licking his damn chops, because if anybody go back and watch, I dare anybody go back and watch that. Go back and watch it. Anytime it was Xbox information, the other host announced it and he wasn't there. His ass stood up for one more thing. That's it. Go back and watch it. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. Genshin Impact, he was gritting through his teeth and saying it.
And that's doing really well on Xbox, by the way.
Yeah, it is. But the level of vitriol that people have for Xbox platform is disgusting at most. It's really funny because I look at him and I say, damn, where did Xbox touch you? Where did Microsoft grope you at? Because I need to know, because the level of vitriol you have towards this platform
is crazy.
And I know what it is, though. I know what it is.
Because we get it on Game Pass.
No. The reason why the PlayStation dudes hate the Xbox so much, they know at any point in time when they turn it up, and they really turn it up because they have enough money to really turn it up, all those stuff that they hold dear can disappear in a blink of an eye. That Grand Theft Auto, I am so happy that the power of leadership has changed, and the FTC is no longer as empowered or as emboldened after going after big tech like they are, because the new edict is something totally different and it's not big tech. Take-Two is going to be a delicious morsel for Microsoft. And right now, conversations will change. Now, of course, it will go all over the place. It will definitely launch on PlayStation. If you think Microsoft would forego any money that PlayStation brand would bring, you're crazy. But marketing would be on Xbox. But also, I don't even think it'd go on Game Pass.
See, I think it goes one further. Oh, it will go on Game Pass. It will.
If that happens, I don't like chocolate cake. If that happens, I will eat a slice of chocolate cake with you on your show. If
you heard it here, boys.
If that happens, I hate chocolate cake. It will have to have chocolate icing, chocolate inside, chocolate layer cake. I will eat a slice of chocolate. I will probably throw up on air, but I hate chocolate cake. But I will eat a slice of chocolate cake if that happens.
If Microsoft owns them, it will, because then it will devalue it will go against the whole Game Pass model. But you're eluding one special point.
PC launch day and day.
Nah, forget PC. I mean, that's going to be a big one. That's going to be a big one, because that is guaranteed to happen. That is guaranteed to happen. But once these consoles are over, right? And this is going on, the whole them buying if they buy 2K or if they buy EA or whatever, right?
Right.
Once the console cease to really exist, because this is where it's going, and it is getting there, we're going to have the cloud wars, right? And you're going to have Sony having their own cloud platform. You see where I'm going with this now? You're going to have Ubisoft having their cloud platform, and then you're going to have Microsoft with Microsoft Studios, ABK, 2K, Sega, whatever, all under their platform. Who do you think people are going to subscribe to? And this is what the CMA foresaw and knew was where Microsoft is going. This is where Microsoft is going.
And this
Microsoft
is why
already
Hiroki
looking
Totoki
at
and
the
the
next one.
CEO at Sony said they don't have the IPs.
Yep, because they don't have it. When you're looking at where Microsoft is going, why do you think Microsoft, from a very early point, has been pushing cloud? Pushing it really aggressively. And with the whole ABK, they really wanted King, which accelerated their actual process by 10 years. They've been pushing cloud really hard. Now the CMA threw a spanner in the works. And
but
so that's delayed
Satya.
them. And that's delayed them, right? No, the CMA with the whole ABK.
No, I'm talking about that's Satya that has been pushing the cloud and pushing AI. That's all Satya.
I think that's been on the back burner for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been looking at this for probably 20 years, but just like where, you've got the idea, but the technology isn't there to do it.
Wasn't there yet, yeah.
They found that and especially with the knowledge from King, they're now in a position to do it, right? But the only thing blocking them now is the infrastructure around the world, because where I used to live, I had a gigabit connection. I pretty much spent 80% of my time cloud gaming.
Right.
And even when I was streaming games, people couldn't tell that I was streaming through the cloud on GeForce Now. Now where I'm at, I've got pleb internet and I can't do cloud gaming. So until the infrastructure fixes, and I think within the next 5-10 years, you're going to see more of that stabilize, where everyone's going to be at least on a minimum of a gigabit or 500 meg internet around the world. That's when you're really going to see. And that kind of coincides nicely with that 10-year block from the Ubisoft deal. Once that's over, you're going to see the new cloud wars. And that is where Microsoft is really going to... Because at that point, they'll be like, right, well, since there's no consoles and everyone could just play through their Fire Stick or their TV, if you want to play Xbox games on the cloud, which is where we're all going to be now because the connections are all stable, yada, 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 you need to subscribe to us because we're not putting these games over here. We're not putting these games over here. So all they're doing now is buying time to that point. That's where I see it all going. And that kind of coincides with what you're saying. And, with them, once the FTC situation is over and they start buying more, make them multi-plat, put them on other consoles. So Microsoft will be using that money just to build that infrastructure more and more. And once all they're doing right now is building that war chest. And the CMA know that this is what Microsoft is doing. They can't accuse them of doing that because...
Well, they actually did accuse them during the trial of building a monopoly in
but not specifically say exactly what they were doing, because it's not, they haven't purposefully come out and said it, but it's obvious that this is where they're going. They're building that online war chest, that cloud war chest, where it gets to the point where are you going to subscribe to someone that's got like 5 games, or to someone that's got all the FIFA EA games, all the 2K games, all the Activision Blizzard games? You know what I mean?
They don't want another Netflix situation where they're so overtly dominant in a space where HBO and Showtime couldn't keep up. Because you thought that HBO and Showtime would have been able to keep up. Netflix got to a point where now their Netflix movies are as good as movies that are released inside the movie theater right now, and where they were purchasing and licensing out all these other studios to launch on their platforms. And I do appreciate the fact that they do anime at this moment right now. I do appreciate that stuff. GTA is not coming to Game Pass. Microsoft isn't buying Take-Two. Okay, Steve.
No one is saying that they are. We were just using that as an example. I mean, if they do, I'm saying that GTA will be on Game Pass. If they do.
Hey, Steve, how about this? Right, since you were listening, and I know you probably didn't pay enough to put enough in words in this, so I get it. Right, how about this part? Right, how about the fact of the matter is, after this new head is put in place over at the FTC, and Microsoft allegiance is with the new regime that's in the White House at the moment, and they're friendly to tech companies expanding and growth, especially the only American console maker, you traitor. That within itself will lend to growth, because they do want to see growth in the sector, because Xbox and Microsoft did lay off a ton of people. So open up more studios, have more growth, and that's a win for the home team, right? That's what you should be looking for, right? So why not acquire Take-Two and expound on the home team's ecosystem? I think it makes sense, especially when tech is no longer the evil entity that exists inside the house of the FTC. That's no longer a thing. They're going after other thing, agriculture. Worry about that stuff. Worry about farmers being displaced because of the machine learning and the AI that's taking the jobs away from. Yeah, go focused on that while we continue to grow this space and don't shrink it. Because if we're allowed to grow this space, there'll be a less job overturns, and it will be more expansion in the area that we need it. Because the uncertainty that we had in this division, because so-called bubbles popped because of all the COVID money. Now we're getting back to a base where acquisitions can happen, mergers can happen, a robust ecosystem that we need in this division, and games can actually start getting back to priceable rates that can sell, right? You don't want the rates to go up because there's no expansion. So you need expansion in order for growth, in order to have the rates down, in order for games to get to you. So yeah, I am all for Microsoft purchasing 2K and Grand Theft Auto 6 being on Xbox Game Pass. Yeah, I don't want to eat chocolate cake, but I will have to eat chocolate cake at the Chaos Lounge. And that will happen, and I'll be proud to do so. I will pull up with my plate with a little candle at the top, and I will smile and probably throw up on air. But I am so happy, Steve, that
Also,
you
Steve
super
is a
chatted.
Brit, by the way.
It doesn't matter. He's a PlayStation guy, so he's a
traitor.
traitor.
No, he's an Xbox guy.
He is.
He's an Xbox guy. He is through and through Xbox.
So Steve, you mean to tell me that you wouldn't hope to manifest that type of vitriol in the opposition? Steve, don't do that. That's mustard heart talk you just did, Steve. Steve, we don't do that. We hope for the best. And then when the worst happen, we do like the PlayStation dudes and we move the goalposts. Follow the script.
Now talk something bad about Gears. Then you'll run him up.
Gears sucks. The multiplayer in Gears sucks.
Oh.
I like the story. It's fantastic. But the multiplayer sucks. I had somebody else mad at me because I said that. I said it was a dead, dying multiplayer franchise, and they lost their crap because I play Fortnite. So it's actually the number one thing. That's hold on, Chaos.
Hey, Bull, happy
it's my
birthday, my
today.
dude.
56. Oh man.
Let's give it up in chat for Paul Harris. Happy birthday, my dude.
Paul, you've been around longer than me. That's a blessing.
And me, man. I probably look older.
It's a blessing, Paul. Paul, what was your first console? Put it, Paul. Tell me what's your first console, Paul. Gears eats Fortnite. Steve, not on his birthday. Atari 2600.
Actually, that was mine. I think that was my first machine as well.
Mine was Pong.
Wasn't that on the Atari?
Nah,
right. The actual thing.
Yeah,
right.
Where you had to hook it in the back of your TV and turn it to channel 3. Yeah, the actual thing. Yeah.
Mine was a 2600, and I think from there I moved on to the Commodore 64. Tech changed, man.
I had everything. I went 2600, 5200, 7800, ColecoVision, Commodore,
I
Amiga.
never had the Coleco. That's the only one we didn't bother with. We went Commodore 64, and we had that for years.
Right.
And then like our friends around the area had like the Atari ST, Spectrum, Amiga ST, and so we used to just go around each other's houses playing, even like the Atari Lynx.
That was the fun part. Oh yeah, the Atari Lynx was out of control. That was probably one of the best handhelds. The long one, even the one that looked like a skateboard, and the shorter one. Yeah. We had both of them. I like the shorter one though. So wait a second. So what he says, it's your birthday next Tuesday. You'll be 39. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, gaming.
It's Addict's birthday today. King David, first console, Magnavox Odyssey. Yes, I had one too. Yo, all right. You're old enough to remember the Vectrex. That was my single greatest console because it didn't have to bother my mother's television. And she came and she saw me playing it, and I was like plugged it into the wall and had his own controller. And I'm sitting there playing it. She was like, "Where you get that little TV from?" I said, "It's a video game console." And she was like, "King David is now my nemesis, and my life's mission is to take him down by any means possible." Well, the only way you're gonna get to do that is in Fortnite, because you can't take me down inside Gears because ain't nobody playing. Matter of fact, I'll be streaming some Fortnite today. You can go watch me over there. There's King David ILP on Twitch.
But yeah.
Today's Addict's birthday. We're gonna he should be having his party stream up at some point in time.
Oh, nice.
Gonna jump over there and say happy birthday. Yeah.
What do you think of Lego?
Oh, going to Xbox?
Yeah.
I told everybody when it was announced that it was going to Xbox in March. But dudes is like, no, you wish it's going to Xbox in March. You wish. Yeah, it's going over there. It's listen, we're at a different age, and I know change is hard and change hurts people. Some people change is forced on them, and sometimes people don't have to adhere to change. Right now, Nintendo is the only one that has siloed themselves off into a place where whatever's going on in the outer world really doesn't affect them. And at some point in time, it will reach them.
They're going to go on PC as well.
Yeah, at this very moment, because first I think they'll be very mobile heavy before they get to PC.
28.
Right.
I reckon 28 is going to be the year that they go PC.
I believe you. I'm not saying that they won't. But when you play the big high stakes rolling game that Xbox and PlayStation's played, PlayStation's been able to stave off some of the decisions based off of their winning in the high stakes game. Xbox has been losing more than they've been winning in the high stakes game. So their rapid change is a must. And at the dismay of the fan base, where if you're a console warrior, it hurts your list wars. It really destroys your narrative when you're going up against a PlayStation guy who says, well, I can play your games anyway. And you really don't have any rebuttal. If you're not really good at rebutting, you're in trouble. So you're pretty much either going to have to hang up your gloves or or just kind of weather the storm. But we're not living in those spaces anymore. These companies are trying to survive. They don't want to turn into a lot of companies that went away. But I think, and the thing, people think that I think the PlayStation itself will go away. No, they have enough IPs and stuff
Nah,
like that.
they'll be around.
They made apps. So you will have a PlayStation app, and the PlayStation app will facilitate these games. They will have the ability to put games wherever games will be played, just like the CEO says. Wherever you can compute, they want to put games.
I mean,
They
that's
just
what
have
Hiroki, not Hiroki. Was it Kenshiro? I think it was.
yes, yeah,
I think it was Kenshiro, right? Let me just
yeah.
double check.
I have the document. It's dudes have to really understand. They really want to do what Microsoft is doing. It's just they don't have the money to make the quick turnaround. And they did have stuff in place. And I think Bungie is the one that sunk them, honestly. I think Bungie was the one that sabotaged all the games that they had in place.
Yeah,
And
Kenshiro
when you
Yoshida.
when you had oversight with them, I think Bungie sunk a lot of those games of service. And it sucks. Because if they I wanted that Spider-Man to show up. The multiplayer Spider-Man, so bad. And for those dudes that wanted factions, I know they wanted factions, and it
I
sucks.
wanted factions.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
like I said, I'm a Telu fan.
Gaming, okay. Cool.
I like Telu, The Last of Us. I like the franchise. I like the setting. I like the world. And I was really looking forward to seeing what more they could do with it, especially when this factions was supposed to be kind of like an open world with a cinema, with a story embedded to it that told it from a different perspective, away from the actual crowd, but from just random civilians just trying to survive at another camp. Like the whole concept of it sounded interesting to me, but instead Bungie tricked them into Concord.
It was Bungie's fault.
Yeah, Bungie looked at that and said, "Now this right here, this game good. This gonna make us look bad."
Exactly.
Then they came to Spider-Man. No, get us out of the way, man. Get us out of the way. And then they came to Concord, and they were like, "That's the one."
With Spider.
This can make us look good.
Yo, you know what I'm mad at too with Concord? They did have a lot of vignettes that they had a roadmap for it. Those vignettes was lit. Like the vignettes of it was lit. They should have went free to play. Honestly, they should have went free to play, but they were so caught up with trying to get a buck that they destroyed their infrastructure. But I don't think they had the roadmap and the wherewithal to do free to play, because free to play takes a level of dedication and a level of wherewithal to withstand the loss in the beginning until you gain attraction. He said none of that is true. None of what is true, Paris?
Paris coming in here skillfully like that.
What Paris? Which one? You gotta say. I gotta hear it. Tell me. I don't think they have the wherewithal to stand at, so that they just pulled out immediately whenever they didn't hit gold. And Helldivers, the PC saved them. I gotta hear what you're talking about, Paris. Tell me what do you say? None of that's true. Your first console was an NES? That's good. I owned every console and every handheld except for the 3DO. 3DO was dope, Jaguar was dope, and the Neo Geo had all of that, and Virtual Boy had all of that.
Paris, do you wanna come on for a few minutes? Or well, I know you're a busy person, so
Paris don't want to get in here because he knows he's going to adjust his score when it comes to Indiana Jones on the PlayStation. So King is bad all over the place.
I will send him the link, and if he wants to jump in, I will bring him online.
Come on, Paris. Everybody put the hundreds in the chat. Get Paris in here. Get Paris in here.
You want Paris in?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, send the link. Yeah, baby.
Oh. Will that even work? That should work. I'm hoping it'll work. Let me know if that works.
Place your bets. Paris versus King. Nah, you'll never see me versus my brother.
Nah, Indiana Jones is definitely my game of the year. Without a shadow of doubt. It's just a shame it missed the deadline.
Nah, what's my game of the year? Probably Space Marines. Actually, I should be playing Space Marines today.
I've been sleeping all day, trying to get over man flu.
I feel you. My wife is sick. I've been staying the hell away from her. Buy her soup.
Paris, send me the link. Let me know if that works. If it doesn't, I'll send you another one.
Oh, snap. My battery is low.
My favorite console was Dreamcast. Dreamcast or the Sega Saturn. I love those.
Yeah, my favorite console was my Neo Geo. Well, no, that's a lie. My favorite console was my Turbo Graphics. That was my favorite console. Well, my PC Engine was my favorite console.
Yeah, I'm just going to go grab a quick glass of water. I'll be right back.
Don't worry. I'll entertain the masses. Now, listen, check it out, guys. What we're going to do is we're going to run it up on these bums. Hashtag no PlayStation 6. We're going to keep the boot on Kong's neck this whole generation. Now, people don't understand why I call PlayStation Kong, because they always need help from outside entities. As you saw with Astro Bot winning Game of the Year, it needed help from Jeff. So Jeff had to get it across the line, even though it's the least purchased game out of any Game of the Year. And in a weird year where we don't know who's exactly voting on these games, we need to know, because only 1.5 million people purchased this game. And I don't think the full panel played the game. I think the full panel just wanted to make Jeff happy and put Astro Bot as Game of the Year. Not saying that I'm salty, because I'm one of the people that played it. And I really like Astro Bot. I just really didn't think the Elden Ring needed to be inside Game of the Year spot. I really think DLC shouldn't have been there. But then From Software said, you know what, hold my beer, King, and what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we put out an Elden Ring game that is a complete spin-off game of its own, so that game can be nominated for Game of the Year next year and win. Now, the fact of the matter that it's going to be playing on the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation and the Xbox One, that kind of sucks, because again, I don't think that we're gonna get the boost in graphics that I wanted it to have, being that it'll be on current gen consoles. But I guess you have to do with what you have to do with, right? So personally, I'm happy. I think next year's gaming slate looks insane. With me getting a chance to play Split Fiction, that's the highest on my list next year. And you can buy the game once, and you can play the game with a buddy. I think that's an ingenious thing, especially in these economic times. I think more games should do that, especially if they have co-op. And right now, I'm playing like Vampire Survivor with couch co-op. So there he goes. So what's not true, Paris? Tell me.
Wait, I'm not on mute. Yeah, you can hear me okay, right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
So, as you already know, I have learned to not get myself in trouble. So I will be careful with what I say.
As vague as possible.
Yeah, he's already in trouble.
I just heard you talking about the Bungie part. Bungie didn't have as much power as you think. I'll just put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
I still believe that they sabotaged the hell out of them.
They didn't. They didn't. That's why I was like, that's not true. They didn't. They, as you may know, have their own problems worrying about some other studio and what they're doing. No, I mean, clearly PlayStation saw that they were overloading with live service games. And the whole problem with live service games, just in general, is only the top 1% succeed. So if you're not a game that, because it takes a lot of time, a lot of engagement, obviously you got to buy battle passes, all that stuff. So clearly we just saw that example with Concord. If you're a game that's not engaging,
a lot of content. Need a lot of content.
Yeah, but didn't Sony say that? I mean, they said themselves that Bungie looked at Factions and said this game had no future, and that was part of the reason why they took it away.
I'm not saying that Bungie obviously didn't consult and look at certain things, but
which it didn't go the way you think. What Druckmann said.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, but I see. I sensationalize it. I don't want it to be. I mean, real life is boring, but I want to sensationalize it. I gotta make it good for the movies. I gotta put the makeup on it. I can't just have it out there just like that. Come on, Paris, you gotta put some makeup on that pig.
But I will say this: the only reason I really came in here was because you tried to call me out thinking I was going to change my score about Indiana Jones. No, I'm not.
Well, it didn't come out yet. Wait a second. Now wait. Now let it come out first.
What are you talking about?
Indiana Jones didn't come out on the PlayStation yet. Let it come out.
You think I'm gonna change my score when it comes on the PlayStation?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Unless they're fixing the AI, no.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing. We don't know yet. Let it happen, Paris. See, I said we gotta dress it up first. We can't just put it out there. We gotta dress that pig up. We gotta put the makeup on the pig. It gotta be presentable for the show. Now we can't just do it now.
You know what's funny though? When I was at the Game Awards, the amount of people that was giving me grief for what me and Greg said about Indiana Jones, just the score. But I will say a certain someone did say that what I said wasn't wrong. It was just obviously people only see a number and they go by that.
Right.
But the things that I said was not wrong.
You said the same things I said. I just gave it a higher score.
Yeah, I just put more weight on the issues with some of the AI and stuff. And I thought with exploration in the, in the open zones, I put more weight against it than other people did. Clearly, again, Troy Baker, the story, all that, phenomenal. You should play that game. I don't take that away at all. But I was disappointed that the AI was as dumb as it was because I cheesed a lot of it and I shouldn't be able to do that.
And when I said that part, but my score was higher, it hit different. See, we can say the same exact things, but people hear different.
See, for me, the AI didn't make that much. Like, I know the AI circle thing goes round and it can get like halfway and they're still looking at you like, I can see you, buddy, but I ain't gonna do nothing. That kind of added to the charm for me for Indiana Jones. That kind of added all to it for me.
When I can line them all up.
Oh, I can't. I'm not been in that position yet. I've been like one-on-one. I usually take them out.
I don't like that. Yeah, I don't like
to be fair. Them all up. But to be fair, and I've heard people say that, and you're right in that sense. That is part of the charm of Indiana Jones. So that kind of plays into it. I get it in hindsight, but that's not how I was, obviously in the moment I'm playing the game.
I totally get that. But when I was playing it, that's how I was looking at it. Because if you watch the old movies, you'll see just Indy standing and the guys, you'll see the enemies that are protecting the jewels or something. They'll be just standing there looking at him like gormless before they realize what's going on and then get knocked out. So I always kind of took it as a play on what the movies were. And when you said it was more like a movie game than a thing, I feel that, especially with the one-liners and the quips and the way it's delivered. I think it's delivered in a perfect Indiana Jones way. And I get it if the younger audience especially don't pick up on that because they weren't brought up with Indiana Jones. But me, as someone who has loved the films since their inception, and even the new ones I still enjoyed, except for Skull. That one was bad.
That was the one with Shia LaBeouf?
Yeah. Maybe if they left Shia LaBeouf out, it would have been okay. Yeah. But with him in there, it just tanked.
Off to him and it just didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't work.
As someone who grew up with that, as I'm playing the game, I just can't get enough. I just love the whole how good it reenacts and brings the whole movie kind of essence to it and how close it is. And that's what really resonated with me. But I get the point that from a younger audience, they won't get that nostalgia. They won't get that, that kind of essence from it because they don't have the kind of background.
Yeah, they don't have the reference.
The reference
points. Yeah, they don't have the reference points to it. But me personally, that's the reason why it scored so high with me, because it captured every essence of Indiana Jones, even the one-liners to the quirky stuff and all that other stuff. Me personally, I'm just not as forgiving when it comes to AI. Because personally, if you're gonna do like a movie game, then you want, and I've seen AI in these type of games, i.e. Lara Croft, which I think had the better AI out of the three games. When you go with Naughty Dog's Uncharted and Indiana Jones and Lara Croft. I think Lara Croft had the better AI out of all three of them. So when you're going to tell me that a game from, 2018, something like that, that game can have better AI, then you just didn't do your due diligence. But also this game does operate in first person. So I don't know the logistics, because I'm not a game developer, of getting that game in to operate in the same manner of a third person game in that space with the same AI algorithms. I don't know, but maybe those AIs does get fixed with the next patch notes and stuff like that, and maybe the score changes. We never know, Paris.
I'm pretty sure my score is not going to change. I highly doubt the experience is going to change that much when it goes to PlayStation, which, since I'm here, and I heard a little bit of what you guys were saying earlier, and I had to go offline, but if you don't mind, I'd like to give my 2 cents if I can.
Yes, sir, please.
So here's the thing. Xbox has changed their business strategy. It's just if you refuse it, because like the amount of people that are mad at me for just saying what is happening is insane to me. It's like, you don't have to like it. No one told you to like it,
but it's happening.
It's happening. Right. So you need to accept it at this point. Mm-hmm. They've obviously, and I was just on Kind of Funny talking about this on KFGD. They've looked at the business, at the landscape of gaming. COVID was a false sense of growth. Didn't happen the way everyone thought. So the console market has not grown past the 200 million for the last decade or whatever it's been, right? Xbox just invested a lot of damn money into gaming. They're essentially the biggest publisher in the world now.
Yep.
They have to continue to grow. It is what it is. So their strategy is, well, if we can't, and Phil was on, he talked about all that stuff. So everyone knows they lost the last generation. They lost the digital library generation. They've told us this. They're essentially in third place when it comes to hardware. So if they can't grow the hardware to acceptable terms, if Game Pass is stagnated, what do? You got to pivot. And that, I agree.
Come out and say it, so this whole debate would be over.
They're not saying
I
it.
agree.
I told you why.
They're not saying it all at once, but if you put everything together, they've literally told you this. Just in the last month, Phil and Matt Booty has told you the strategy of what they're doing. Phil told you nothing is off the table going to another platform. And Matt Booty said basically, hold on. And then Matt Booty even just said that not every studio is equipped to release day and date on multiple platforms. So the ones that can't, they stagger it. That's why Indiana Jones is not coming out day and date on PlayStation, because Machine Games is not capable.
He said games and exclusivity will be determined on a case-by-case basis, which means some games will be going, some games won't be going. So
I would not hold. I'm going to tell you right now. Do not think that there's going to still be exclusive games. Don't think that Avowed's not going to show up on PlayStation at some
giving
point.
That clear information.
No. I understand that.
The messaging is still mixed.
I get that, but I'm telling you what the reality of it is. If you think Master Chief isn't showing up on PlayStation one day, you're fooling yourself. It's going to happen. To me, that's the mentality. Anyone that cares about Xbox, anyone that is invested into this, you need to go in it with that every game that will show up on an Xbox platform will eventually show up on PC, on cloud, and the competition on PlayStation and probably the Switch too, if it's capable.
Yeah, the PlayStation 5 for as long as it lasts.
Well, yeah, until they come out with PlayStation 6, because that's happening too.
Hashtag no PlayStation 6, it won't happen.
No, but I mean, being serious.
Y'all really think that I'm joking when I come to it. It's not gonna happen. And 2030 is too far away, and I see the landscape changing in such a listen. A lot of
I will bet you any amount of money you want.
I don't bet money.
A PlayStation 6, whatever you want, PlayStation 6 is happening.
Listen. The same way I told him I eat the chocolate cake on his show. I hate chocolate cake. If Grand Theft Auto goes inside Game Pass, I'll eat a chocolate cake. Slice of chocolate cake. like I said, you can come on, you can bend the knee on ILP. It'll be fantastic. It'll be a wonderful thing. It'll be a wonderful thing, Paris, because just 5 years ago, if somebody would have told me that Xbox exclusives would be on PlayStation, I would have ate my hat. But somebody did say it was going to happen, and it is. So just the same way, hashtag no PlayStation 6 is real until it's not. And when it doesn't show up, and then you just come on ILP and we'll just have you bend just bring a nice little cushion for your knee, because I don't want you to hurt yourself. Because I know you like to squat because you might be leg day that day. So, get your nice knee band in and, just say, hey, man, and we cool with it. But people don't understand why. Because I think they're going to be highly successful in another area that it won't facilitate that device. And I think we're going to outgrow those devices. I think the last device is the Xbox device that's coming up in 2026. And I know they're out of it after that, depending on whatever that looks like.
Well, Microsoft said they're still making a console, right? For those that actually want it.
Yeah.
And I think that will be the last one.
Yeah, that's it.
Before they migrate.
It's not.
Well, you think there's going to be more consoles after the next Xbox?
They're not going to stop making hardware.
Who's going to buy it?
They're not. They're not. Who just said this? Someone smarter than me just said this.
You got to see player.
He's clearly talking about me now.
Paris.
Well, wait. Maybe he's not smarter than me. But the point is, someone. I just heard someone said it, and it totally makes sense to me. They're not going to stop making hardware because you might not get it, I might not get it, but say there's 15 million people that still want hardware. They're going to make hardware for 15 million people.
Yep.
There's still going to be enough people that will buy an Xbox console, regardless if these games show up on other platforms, because just like they sell the Surface laptop, like there's examples that we've seen in other realms of tech where you may be able to access it on multiple pieces of hardware, but they still make the hardware. They're not going to stop. They're going to continue to make it.
They still have CD drives in certain cars.
Maybe not at the volume that we're used to today, but they're going to still make hardware.
Yeah, but there are implications with that, right?
What would the implication be?
Unless they're pretty much building a small form factor PC.
Who said they're not?
But then that's no longer a console.
Okay,
it's basically a mini PC.
But what you're doing, and look, I'm not trying to defend it and stuff. It's
I'm not saying that.
I am just looking at the landscape of what's happening and where it's headed, and I try to be realistic about it. Phil has essentially told you over a few different interviews that he is very open to third-party digital stores being on Xbox hardware, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
You look at what Steam is already doing with Steam OS. Steam is now putting Steam OS onto third-party hardware.
You saw that, right?
Yeah. Who's to say we don't get a variant of Windows that is essentially an Xbox OS that, sure, Microsoft will make kind of quote unquote the template hardware.
Yeah, that's what we just spoke about earlier.
Yeah. So there you go. So why would they stop?
Because I'm not under NDA, so I can say stuff like this. So integration in the Windows 12, yeah, of course, and then everything is the Xbox. It is what it is.
But that's not a traditional console in the end. We're talking about traditional consoles.
But Xbox is bucking tradition. I guess that's the point that I'm trying to make here.
Yes, and you're absolutely right.
Throw tradition out the window. People, this is the thing. People get so effing mad at me. Like I'm literally typing a tweet right now where someone's mad at me and I'm quote tweeting it. But people get so mad at me because I'm a realist. I see what's happening. So I talk about what's happening versus what I want to happen. You can want them to stay traditional and exclusives and all that, but they're not doing it. They're clearly going to be aggressive and try something else.
Here.
No. I know you are. I'm speaking more in general.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, look,
because I'm saying it's not going to be a console in the traditional sense. That they're going to. The next one will probably be the last one if they do go down the traditional route.
Well, he's talking about a traditional console.
Yeah, but from then, like I was speaking with King David earlier on in the stream, I reckon they're going to go through a revisionist version.
He said we're coping.
Where
but it's not. Who said it? Who said it?
Hayabusa.
It's not. It's hilarious because I get a chance to watch the PlayStation fall down the same rabbit hole that the Xbox has. Xbox just has more money to do it faster. That's all. And first of all, as soon as they got ABK, you already knew there was a third-party publisher. So anybody that thought it was something totally different, I told you what was going to happen the moment that happened. Even though I championed it, I knew exactly where we were going. We're going down a dark street.
I mean,
okay, go ahead, because then I'm going to throw out a scenario and get your reaction. But go ahead.
Yep. My vision is that after the next console, and this could actually happen with the next console as well, by the way, Xbox is going to have a blueprint for a base minimum of what the games will run on in terms of hardware. And then they will give that blueprint to other manufacturers to create whatever they want as long as it's above that specification. That specification will run all the games that are on whatever the next gen console is going to be called, the Series X, and the back catalog. So that's the minimum spec that Asus, Lenovo, or whoever wants to, make Alienware, whatever, wants to go out and make. But they would need to make it either on that spec or above it. And obviously there's going to be a different price point. So it'll be like a tiered PC-esque kind of console kind of thing. A bit like how you've got the Asus ROG and the Asus ROG Ally X.
Yep.
That's what I see happening.
So along those lines, because I think we're aligned here. I'm agreeing with you on this. So wait a minute, hold on. Can you admit that Sony is also a third-party developer? Go read my tweets. I'm not here to justify stuff for you. I've already said all this, but here's the scenario I was throwing out along the lines of what you're thinking. Now, Phil has obviously said it's years away. This handheld, we know they're making a handheld.
Yep. Right.
If Xbox puts out a handheld, their own Microsoft handheld that boots directly into an Xbox experience, but then similar to the Steam Deck, you have the ability to put Steam on it. You can put the Epic Store on it. You can put GOG on it, right? But part of that Xbox experience is you also get access to your entire back catalog of Xbox games as well that you own. To me, that's the differentiator between any other handheld device that would be on the market that would be seen as a competitor, including Steam, because I can do everything that Steam Deck does, but I also have access to everything that Xbox does as well. I think that, to me, that is desirable. That is something I would want to go get, because now I have my entire Xbox catalog over multiple generations with me wherever I go. That just makes sense to me that they're going to do that. Why wouldn't they?
That's what I was telling. Like, me and my friend at work have been discussing this sort of thing every so often. But that would be the only real USP that they could put out there that would differentiate them from everyone else, and that would be the selling point for the new handheld. Yeah. So I don't see any other way for them to really.
What's really strange? Because I'm reading one of the comments.
No, let me get this. Let me get this one. Let me get this, because we are of the same mind of this. See, whenever I come on a show like this and I see these ridiculous comments in the chat, I like to address them.
IQ individuals?
Yes, because I'm gonna read it. We all saw this coming, but Xbox creators like David and Paris spell my name right because you're spelling it wrong.
Paris linked in exactly to where I was linked in.
Kept whitewashing and misleading fans. I have never misled anybody on anything because I always tell you what I think every time. And if I think I'm wrong, and if I turn out to be wrong, I say I'm wrong. So I would love to know where I misled anyone, because if anything, I've been telling you this was coming for a while, and people get mad at me all the time because we saw what started in June, and it has evolved over the past 6 to 9 months. And it's like, pay attention to what the leadership is telling you. You may not like what they are telling you, but they are telling you, here's the change. Here's what's happening, right? Like, even when the Indiana Jones, when we saw it Gamescom, that was coming to PS5, I wasn't shocked. And I literally was on Kind of Funny right after that. Go ahead and expect Starfield and everything else to go. Go ahead.
The reason why you weren't shocked, because a week before.
All right, hold on. My Cyberpunk review was pretty misleading. Go Google it right now. It is on Kind of Funny right now. And I told people, don't play it. It's too buggy. So if that was misleading, please let me know.
He's going in on a chair. He's going in on a chair and somebody else's second.
Yeah, exactly. But this is what I find comical with it. 1 second, I'll let you jump in. I always find comical with these kind of ridiculous comments in there, because you don't do your own research. You see someone that obviously doesn't like me for whatever reason or make some joke, and then you make assumptions because I told the world, don't play Cyberpunk 2077. In December of 2020, I said that. That is on record. You can Google it and see it right now. So to say I misled anyone on that is a flat out lie. Paris, again, people believe what they want to believe. Go ahead.
Let me ask you a question, and we pretty much had the same information. Did we know a week before that the PlayStation version was going to go for Indiana Jones?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So people are ignorant. So like that statement, and the only reason why I'm highlighting UGame and Survivor because that's completely inaccurate. If you say I'm misleading any fans, I don't mislead anybody. All my stuff is my wants and my needs. I'm a gamer. I'm gonna tell you what I want. I want them to die. Right? Actually, be honest with you. Right? That's it. And if you don't like it, that's your problem. I like the game on my Xbox, but am I stupid enough not to respect exactly their pedigree? No, I actually have a PlayStation. I actually play it. If you knew, I stream it. I play it all the time. The problem is you can't separate my words from your emotions. I like my Xbox. So when you run around saying Xbox is dead, that's factually wrong because I could boot my Xbox up and play it right now. Right? So I'm not saying PlayStation is dead now. I'm just saying that there's no PlayStation 6. Hashtag no PlayStation 6. Now, the fact of the matter is, if I'm misleading my fan base, produce a PlayStation 6 right now. Show me it. You can't, right? So hashtag no PlayStation 6 is real until it's not. And if it never comes out, it never happens. If those drones happen to take us all out, guess what really happened? No PlayStation 6, right? So listen, man, it's all comedy, it's all entertainment. A lot of times, please listen to the words that he say. We do have information in the background. Sometimes he has more than me. Sometimes I have a little bit more than him. But regardless to what, he has never misled anybody, as far as I know. And he told people, do not play that. But somebody wanted to make that chair a thing. I didn't even know the chair was a thing until later on. But again, you know, he hasn't misled anybody. And he's probably one of the most reputable guys there.
Which, again, why do you think I'm one of a handful of people that actually just interviewed CD Projekt Red for The Witcher 4? Right, like I was the first person to talk to them after the Game Awards. Let me explain something to people so they get it. You can say I mislead and I do this and the blah 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 and all the fanboy stuff, but I take a lot of pride in the work that I do. I do, and I work hard at it. So the opportunities that I get, I have earned them because people respect and trust the opinions that I have, even if it's one that they disagree with. Think about Indiana Jones. If it's all about, he's afraid to do this and he's misleading people, why didn't I give Indiana Jones a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10? I gave you my honest opinion because I'm always going to give you my honest opinion.
You gave it a 7.5 and I gave it an 8, right?
Yeah.
What's the difference? We both said the same thing.
But it's the point of people make these wild assumptions online, and it's like you want to engage with the community and you want to like be on the chat and do all that kind of stuff, but then people love to come at you sideways and be mad disrespectful or just literally make up stuff, you know, because it fits whatever agenda of how they want to feel about you. And that's why I'm correcting people in real time right now in this chat, because don't make up stuff. Like when I say something wrong, call me out on it, because I will be the first one to be like, yep, you got me, you're right, my bad, and you move on from there. But when you just make up stuff, that's ridiculous to me, because like I said, I put in way too much work to go through that nonsense.
I zoomed into, which was hilarious, and I got on shades. Yo, Paul Harris, you can't see the drones over there because y'all it's raining over there too much. They're in the clouds. They're looking down at you. Watch that drone strike. Yo, I gotta get over to Attic because it's his birthday. Paris, if you get a chance, please just pull up over there on Attic's birthday and just pop in.
Yeah, I'll definitely do that. Like I said, I just want to pop in for a minute. I
love it. And listen, Paris, we got to keep this going until the PlayStation release comes out, bro. We got to keep this going. And if you want to joke about it and give it an 8 right after.
Look, I want to be there when it's announced, so that I could be one of the first people to hear that you say that you were wrong.
No problem.
Yeah.
No problem. But I hope they release a huge patch the week before that said we fixed all the AI problems. And you see the AI ducking and they moving and they grabbing and they throwing chairs. I would pass out if they actually do it, but hopefully they do it. I got enough time. When they said they was releasing it in February or something like that.
They said spring, right?
No, they just said spring. We actually don't know. I would guess probably March. March is my guess.
Might be the last day of spring for these dudes. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna go play some Indiana Jones, and I might just jump over to my PC and play it on my PC. Why? Because it's flexible like that, and Xbox affords me that.
Invite King Thrash. No, you don't. Don't do that.
No. No.
I'll probably have to do. I'm probably gonna do his show this week. He's me and him talking in the background. So
no, and I'll just say this in public, and people can clip it because I don't care. I have no respect for him because I have never spoken to that guy in my life.
Right.
And some of the stuff he said about me, I'm like, really? You know what I mean? So it's like I don't have time or respect for people like that because it's like you don't know me and don't make assumptions about me. That's why one of his other cohorts, I might have to put hands on him if I ever see him in person because don't talk crazy about me. I think people what happens is people mistake kindness for weakness when it comes to that stuff. They're like, oh, he's a nice guy. I can say any crazy thing I want because it's the internet. No, you don't.
Bro,
don't do that.
I met Paris at what was that? Summer Games Fest, right? Be careful. You might get hurt.
and honestly,
no, but he's a nice guy, and I don't want to start pushing this narrative of black guy violence. That's bull.
Yeah, no.
We're not doing that. He's a businessman, and none of that stuff happens. So we have a good time. So please, hey, listen, don't walk around here talking about Paris gonna put hands on nobody. That's not true. Paris is a nice guy. He's a businessman, and we are here for opportunities only. Anyway, people, let's say bye to Paris because we done got him in enough trouble. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate
One thing I was
you.
going to add before Paris does go. I remember I made a video, and which actually was referencing something he said, and I was reacting to it and giving my opinion. And I don't think I said anything bad, but it's actually how we actually met and got into good, became good friends. And he reached out and wanted to have a quick discussion in the background on Discord. And we had a pretty good conversation. He's a really nice guy. I mean, I know people have a lot of shtick for him for whatever reason it is, but underneath all of that gaming stuff, he's a down to earth guy, and really, no way do you deserve any of the shit you actually.
No, and I appreciate you saying that, and you're right. It was like, and that was kind of the point I was making earlier. I am not pretending that I'm right all the time. Look, I know you do. But the point I'm making is, I'm open to criticism. I mean, criticize the stuff that I'm saying. But like, if I'm seeing like you're just going with misinformation, like I reached out to you, I was like, hey, let's just talk about it. You know what I mean? I do that a lot, actually, because not every conversation is for public consumption. My only thing is people seem to think it's okay to say and do whatever because it's the internet, I guess, right? And we all know you're not doing that to anybody, not just me, anybody in person. You're not talking to people like that. It's like, be respectful of people. That's all I ask. Just be respectful. Disagree with me all you want, but just be respectful about it. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much the way forward. Being
I
respectful
laugh at these people because if we're in the same proximity, none of that stuff happens. So I don't care about it.
So, and I'm sorry, and honestly, I shouldn't even be looking at the chat because the ignorance is just off the chain. So now
it should be cash only.
I know.
You read, but anyway.
Yeah, but I play the corporate line and I fluff up pro Xbox news. It's like, get the F out of here, seriously, because clearly you don't. You can do whatever you want.
That's right. I got Xbox Frontline News. Yes, He is not guilty of any of this. I am wearing an Xbox chain, and I said Xbox to the death for me. Hashtag no PlayStation 6. It's not happening.
You're gonna go with that until it happens or doesn't happen.
Yo, dude said when the PlayStation 6 come out, I'm gonna say hashtag no PlayStation 7. Half of y'all ain't gonna have it anyway. Half of y'all just gonna be buying a PlayStation 5. So for y'all, it didn't happen.
All right. Well, speaking of, I think I'm gonna go play the game of the year on my PS5 Pro.
So Indiana Jones.
Go have some fun with that, man, because I heard they need more sales, so kind of a signal boosted out of there. Catch you later, bro.
Good talking to y'all. I'll catch y'all later.
All right, peace. Oh man, I gotta get ready to boogie. I gotta jump over here with Addict. Yeah, I think he's.
Do you want to let people know where they can find you?
Yes, you can catch me at Xbox Frontline News with your boy the King, where I'll be dropping a video today talking about Satay and the Dollar and his words. Did we hear him? Did we hear Matt Booty? Did we hear Phil? Did we hear Sarah? Is there too many cooks inside the kitchen? What's going on over at Xbox? Is the whole slate going? If it is, please give me a date. But anyway, I do a live show on Friday, which is Fight Night Fridays, where we have so much fun. I've been an avid watcher of TheChaosLounge and for a long time, and I follow back people. I don't hold my follows. Like I'm not anybody special. I'm a gamer. And he reached out and he was like, "Yo, come on." I was like, "Hell yeah, I really like your stuff." So anytime that you're able to talk video games with a fellow gamer, you can say, "Oh, I like this platform better," but you play everywhere. That means you're a gamer. And I want everybody to remember this. This is a hobby. If you felt offended by me saying brokey, don't. I come from absolute nothing. I come from food stamps and living in the projects. I work every day of my life. So to game is a luxury. And to game at the highest level, that is a blessing from God himself. So at the end of the day, work harder, spend smarter, and game everywhere you want. Don't lock yourself over to an ecosystem based off of fake corporate ties. They have no allegiance to you. That's the whole crux of the conversations that we had today was the fact that they're able to change at the drop of a dime. And me telling Chaos that his digital library is tied here and he didn't like whatever they were doing, he's beholden to whatever whims that these guys have. Don't be locked into a corporation, people. Even though I play around with the Xbox stuff, yeah, I love Xbox. That's where I am. I'm tied just like Chaos is to my 1,000 of some odd games that is locked into that ecosystem. And I'm pretty much concerned of how they're going to preserve my games going forward with whatever iteration of the platform it is. So you can get all that information over at Xbox Frontline News and also at Iron Lords Podcast Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where myself, Lord Cognito, Lord Attic, and Lord Sovereign talk video games. Thank you, sir, for having me on.
Anytime,
I truly appreciate it. And my guy from across the pond, so listen, understand, I hope you have enough space in your house because when these drones start killing us off, I'm getting out of here and I'm heading over there.
No worries.
What he said? He said, King David, Xbox should hire you. You defend them better than Mad Booty. It's not defending them.
Defending.
It's I have no defense for anything that a $1 trillion company, $3 trillion company is doing. There's no defending anything. It's my gaming space. This is where I game at.
$3 trillion. Why would you defend the $3 trillion? I mean,
they're
going to do what they want to do anyway.
Exactly. But do you say I defend PlayStation when I'm the only one out here talking positive about the Pro? Where numerously you heard Chaos, going in on the Pro. I mean, I may say my little snipes here and there, but I understood exactly what I brought when I got it. And I understand what the tech is. And I know the tech is necessary in pushing the industry forward. If it doesn't happen here, that happens later on down the road. And then you have to work out the kinks there. Let it happen now so that the next iteration of a DSL type of device that's inside of a box has a better chance of garnering more of the gaming space attention. Right now, it's divided. That's all.
That's why I said, right, us PS5 Pro owners are beta testers for the PS6 if it ever does come.
Yeah, exactly. And that's honest to God truth. But Xbox is seeing what happens with the pisser, and then they say, you know what? Whatever iteration of the machine learning AI algorithm that they put in their box, it will hopefully rival that of DLSS. And that is a direct result of Sony going first and showing. So, I mean, everybody can learn from everybody in this space. So hopefully this gives us a better robust AI solution where we can have 480p games being shown at 4K resolution and we don't know the difference. Super sticker. Oh, Devin Booker. That's right. King is right. 98% all the time. Yay.
But yeah, that's how I see it. The PS5 Pro is basically a beta test and information gathering for the PS6, and if it ever arrives, that is. But if the it's all done for that. I think when it comes to Xbox, I think they're gonna, if they don't double down on FSR 4 or 5 or whatever happens when the new Xbox comes out, they're probably. I mean, I've heard rumors that they're looking at Nvidia as their next graphics card with their newfound partnership with Nvidia, because that's actually quite strong at the moment.
It's crazy, right? That's what I was talking to you about. I don't know who they're in bed with.
I think
because they
Nvidia.
gave money, they gave money to everybody.
But I think you can kind of see it already with how they're integrating with GeForce Now. They've got their partnership with Nvidia right now is as strong as it's ever been. And I think it's only going to get stronger when you get the GeForce Now app on Xbox. I think that's going to happen.
But the stack that's inside the Azure cloud is an Nvidia AMD hybrid.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, I think you'll kind of need that for the cloud.
For the back,
for the back catalog and stuff, because that's where everything's. There's no real reason to kind of re-engineer all of that. But going forward, I think the next official hardware will kind of be built on Nvidia. That's just my assumption with how their partnership is going and how strong it's building. And I think, especially after Sony now for the first time doing something for the first time in their lives, has Microsoft has seen how it actually affects consoles and what impact it's having. I think they're going to take a more cautious approach to it, and you never know, they could get a form of a hybrid version of DLSS working, because DLSS is tailored for each game, whereas FSR is kind of all round, PISR is all round. So maybe they'll have like a tailored version of a DLSS where it's not tailored for each specific game, but one that kind of works across the board. That will be in their console. But with Nvidia having that years of experience of delivering top-notch DLSS delivery, it could, if that is the direction they're going, it could actually be quite good.
Yeah, well, we'll get a chance to see it in the Switch 2 coming up that's about to drop, because I believe the Switch 2 will have a version DLSS of that definitely inside the box. So we get a chance to see how robust that is and what that looks like. But thank you for having me on.
Always,
I appreciate each and every last one of you guys. And catch you later.
Peace out, dude.
Peace.
Well, folks, that was a pretty stifling and enjoyable stream. Only a couple of things that I wanted to talk about that we didn't get. Well, we kind of covered a little bit in the actual discussions we had, but I think a couple of them got missed. What's your thoughts on Jez's comment here? Never really got the chance to ask you guys personally. What's your thoughts on Jez's response? Xbox won't have exclusives. Personally, I know Paris said as well that there won't be any. I think there still will be throughout this generation. I don't think every game is going. It's just going to cost too much money. It just doesn't make sense. Making every game multi-plat doesn't make sense. Have a good one, Paul, and happy birthday again, dude. Take it easy, King. Take it easy, Paris. You think everything will be timed? Real gamers play Assassin's Creed? I guess I'm not a real gamer anymore. Halo will not go. It's brand suicide. I think if Halo goes, it is going to be really... It's going to be a big turning point. I think Halo and Gears especially will be the big ones. But time will tell how that develops, right? But porting takes time and money. But we're also now seeing more and more PlayStation games, coming over. We're looking at this over here. Xbox is reportedly working on a cross-platform interface called Project Rainway, which someone in chat put a message saying, this is the thing that we've been talking about with regards to the whole sandbox overlay skin that will work on Windows. It's essentially this, and it will basically be a sandbox within Windows. Now, they do have this primarily working somewhat on Windows 11. It's just not working great to natively install the games, and there's still some ways to go. I mean, I've been working on it for, I think, about 18 months to 2 years now. So it's going to take a little while to get the kinks working. I don't know if they're going to wait until Windows 12, which is, I think King David said 26. I don't know if they're going to wait that long, but 26 isn't that far out either, to be fair. But I think that's when you're going to see the full Xbox integration into Windows. And if you're looking at it on a 26 that's when everything's kind of going to change, because everything seems to be happening in 26. Being able to have a sandbox of your Xbox on your PC in 26, an Xbox hardware in 26, the handheld in 26. So 2026 seems to be a really big monumental year for Xbox. Torino, that is what he said, but he's always been for exposure. Even when Office was not on Macs, he was against it. He wanted Microsoft Office on Macs because it just means more money for them. As a corporation, their loyalty is to their shareholders, not to gamers, not to anyone else, but to their shareholders, because their shareholders are the ones that put money into the business. And so they need to make more money. And putting your stuff everywhere and making it readily available everywhere, realistically, is the way forward. I mean, if you look at Wukong, which was available on PC and PlayStation, it sold 20 million units. That's a lot. And that just shows you, the kind of power a multi-platform game can have. You don't get exclusives doing that sort of sales volume. You just don't. I don't think. See, I know Forza Horizon, from what I've been told, is already made. Right? From what I've been told, Forza Horizon is actually already built, but they just ain't pushing it. I don't know why. They may never push it. But, you've got... I think this is really telling here when he says we are redefining what it means to be an Xbox fan. And as David was saying, you've got a lot of people saying a lot of things. And as I was saying, there's no clear messaging as to what's being said. And as I said to Paris, I just want them to come out and say what it is. But they won't do that because, honestly, they're scared of doing more damage than they need to right now. And that's really where they're at. I mean, if you're looking at Microsoft at the moment, gaming is now Microsoft's third largest business, bigger than Windows. It's made $62 billion in Q2, right, of 2024. Gaming contributed $7.11 billion, more than $5.26 billion from Windows. That's a lot of money. And from that 62 billion, I think 22 billion is net profit. So that's a lot. And if we're looking at just the base stats, OEM for Windows was up 11%. Device revenue was down 9%, but that's including Surface laptops, which didn't sell. Gaming revenue is up by 49%. Xbox content and services is up 61%. And hardware revenue is up 3%. So, as you can see, well, this one is a thing, the Surface, which hasn't been doing very well. But Xbox hardware revenue is up 3%. Steve, basically, I think he thought you was American, which is why I clarified that you're British and not American, which kind of changed the tune a little bit, but that's what it was intended to do. Right? So, sorry, one sec. Sorry about that, chat. But yeah, it's interesting to see where it's going to go. Also, it's going to be very interesting to see what my next stream in about 3 hours is going to be like when I'm on Puerto Rox's stream. For those that want to come and check out what that's going to be like. But I mean, just listening to what Kenshiro Yoshida said here.
Wherever there is computing, users will be able to play their favorite games seamlessly.
I mean, he's already telling you that they're gonna follow the same kind of process. It's no different. They're gonna follow the same path. Microsoft is just pushing ahead now because they always want to do things first. It's just one of those things. It is what it is. So, Steve is American when he's drunk. Now, I've been having an argument with this dude on X, and I think I'm just going to stop engaging a lot of people that are stupid on X. The reality is, if you are putting your... Okay, let me ask you a question. Let me do a poll. Because I'd love to see what your thoughts on this is. Because I have my opinion, and I'm going to share my opinion. Leafstorm, it's going to be at 1:30 in the morning. It's only for an hour because I've got to get to bed because I'm not very well. I'm surprised I actually managed to get through this one, to be fair. I've been sleeping all day. But let me just put the poll up real quick. All right, here we go. This is going to be like a 2-minute poll. So get voting. And the response I'm getting is that if their games were not true exclusive, people wouldn't buy an Xbox. So if games like Call of Duty, Starfield wasn't available on PC, PlayStation, people wouldn't buy an Xbox to play those. And I totally disagree. I think if they went the full exclusive route, it would actually make a huge difference in how they sell their console. So what they're doing is directly impacting, but it's also opening up a revenue stream for them that ultimately brings them more revenue. Now, what does this mean for the average person like you and me? For the consumer that's within the Xbox ecosystem, if you are on Game Pass, well, what this means is you're going to get more games on Game Pass day and date within your Game Pass subscription. I've already saved like £300 worth, £400 this year playing games on Game Pass. My kids have played so many games, way more than I have, and they all use my subscription to play. So we've saved a metric ton of money. So in the end, like I said at the beginning of the stream, my allegiance is always to my wallet, whatever saves me the most money. But yes, in my opinion, the the console hardware is being devalued. There's just no way around it. Even Sarah said, we are deliberately doing this to devalue the hardware. She openly said that in an interview. But what it means for you as an Xbox gamer, you are getting more day one games on your platform. So where everyone else is paying $70 to play those games, like Doom and everything else, you'll get them day one on your subscription to play. A vague 100%. 100% agree with that. COD players will jump. Where COD is, they will go there. If that was the only place to play it, they would buy the console to play it. Sony is doing the same thing already. They're just experimenting with bits and bobs. And Lego is going to be one of the first few that make it over. But from what I've seen... Sorry. I have a really, really bad cold. Now, this article over here, which I think is badly written from Mike Straw, they say, news of PlayStation exclusives coming to Xbox shouldn't surprise anyone. Over recent years, both sides have continued to release games on competing platforms. Recently, Genshin Impact, which has nothing to do with Sony, finally made its debut on Xbox. They just had a third-party agreement, which probably had a set period. After being console exclusive since 2020, another PlayStation exclusive, Sony lost the rights to Predator. So another studio gained that licensing, so they actually took this. But it looks like all the games that Sony has had a licensing for, including stuff like Death Stranding, they're losing them one by one. But Lego will be one of the first that they've built, that they own the IP for, that will actually make the transition over. And I think more will follow. I'm not saying the big titles are going to follow, but they are going to start porting them as well, because at the end of the day, they need more money. Power, you can do, but I'm only going to be on for another 10 minutes at most. I need to ease my voice a little bit before the actual Puerto Rock stream, which is going to be interesting. They're either going to be blasting me from here to Kingdom Come, or it's going to be an interesting conversation. Let me drop you something. Where is... There you go. I mean, I literally slept for the whole day today just so I can be here for this stream. I was really bad today. But, yeah. So, I think they're both going to start doing it. I think Microsoft is doing it now because they've, with the acquisition of ABK, I don't think anyone saw them making it exclusive. And like I said to King, it was always going to be, they should have just always announced that ABK games would have been multi-plat. They should be as forceful as before. I don't know. We'll have to see what the new FTC actually is like. I haven't actually got one yet. They haven't tagged me yet. But if you're on my Twitter, if you're following me on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, I'm going to retweet it the moment they do. which should be very soon. Let me just reach out to him. But yeah, I think it's going to be interesting times going forward. I think we're going to see more of this happening. And we've already heard Kenshiro say that they want you to be able to play PlayStation games on any computer that you want as long as it makes them money. Now, that's pretty much letting you know that they are thinking the same thing. Just Microsoft is going ahead further. Going way forward. Hello, Power.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
I will.
Sorry.
I mean,
a riot to have
if you're
good time with.
If you join me on my Discord as well, I will also post it in there. And once I have a link, I have asked him for a link, but I haven't got one yet. I've just got a Discord thing where I'll be joining there at.
So you're going to be on with Portal Rock later?
Yeah, he invited me.
Okay.
Apparently, he reached out to
when he's
Xbox
not
users.
fanboying, he actually has good points half the time.
Well,
I will say that about him.
If they decide to gang up, I'm just gonna leave.
I'll be there in chat to support you, assuming I don't get banned out of the chat.
But I think the FTC will be more pro, especially with the way the administration is looking. They want to push everything US. And so they'll be supporting them in every way, shape, and possible. That's the way I see it. But it's going to be
All right.
Tim Douglas blocked me because I proved him wrong.
Grab Portal Rock's channel.
I proved him wrong, so he blocked me.
All right, so I got Portal Rock pulled up. And here's the link for.
That's literally the reason he blocked me, by the way, because I proved that he was lying about me.
All right. So what did I miss in the conversation with King David and
I was just talking about gaming in general, and Paris just came in because of the whole. We were saying that Bungie removed other games, and he was saying they didn't have that power, and I thought it was quite funny because I thought, well, basically we were just messing about saying that they did have that power, and it was hilarious. Well, apparently Jez now says Dreamcast guy is such a cockend.
I mean, we knew this.
I wonder why.
What's up, John, Bags, Steve, everybody in chat? Nice to see y'all.
I wonder why. But
what's up, Rabbi?
To me, Xbox. I know Paris said don't expect any game to be exclusive until Microsoft comes out and says that's what's happening. I will expect games to be exclusive. Again, as I said at the beginning, though, I don't have as much skin in this as others do who are only on the platform. And when I do my debates and videos, I always do it from a perspective of those of you that have the console only an Xbox and not anything else. But because I have a PlayStation, I have a Switch, I have a very powerful PC. I mean, my 3090 Ti right now runs Indiana Jones on the max settings with medium ray tracing because the 30 series was never designed for ray tracing. But with medium ray tracing, and I can run it max settings at 80 FPS. So, and I still play indie on my Xbox anyway half the time because my kids are playing Roblox on my 3090. Yeah, I know, right? Roblox on my 3090. It breaks my heart. But
I think my son wants to start getting into Roblox.
I heard it's getting banned in the UK.
Of course, he also wants to get into Valorant.
Hey, Rabbi, how's it going? But until they come out and say it, there will always be exclusives. But looking at it from devil's advocate, my Game Pass doesn't expire now close to 2027.
Nice.
Right? I will not play a single one of those Xbox games on anything outside of the PC or Xbox.
So I actually wanted to address something that Cygnus just came up with in chat. Phil said no red line, while Satya said redefining what Xbox means today to play anywhere, even on competing platforms. That whole no red line discussion and statement, I don't think it means that, hey, whole slate is coming. I think it means that nothing is off the table for being discussed to coming or going
I think it's
to
more than that.
PlayStation or other platforms.
I think it's more than that. In my opinion, he made that statement because of stuff that the community has done and riled up a lot of things. People are bringing up tweets from 2013, 2014, 2016 of things he said. So now he doesn't have to turn around and say, if someone says, oh, why is, I don't know, Starfield going? I'm not saying it is going. Someone's going to clip me now saying it's going. But, you know, if he turns around and says Starfield hypothetically is going, people can't go back to him now and say, well, you said it wasn't. That whole conversation, that whole drama.
Yeah, earlier this year when he made that statement saying,
right. But that whole drama
it's
now
not
is
one
over.
of the foregoing.
That drama is over. No one can now go pick out a tweet or this. The media can't call him a liar or anything else.
They're going to do it anyway. And they're going to try to twist his words.
But they can't because he said there's no red line. The moment he said that, there can't be a single article calling him out as a liar anymore. There can't be a single article coming out and saying, Phil said this, but now he's doing this. Because
now, I will say,
there is no precedent.
When it comes to Starfield specifically, I don't think that's going to go for one reason and one reason only. The mods.
Starfield is or isn't going to go?
Is not.
I don't think Starfield will go over, but at the end of the day, I mean,
good, bad, or indifferent, whether you like or hate Starfield, I just don't think it's going to. I just don't think it's going. I'm talking about for everybody in the chat too. I just don't think it's going to go specifically because from Fallout 4 and Skyrim and other games that Bethesda has put out that allow mod support and support mods, Starfield went above and beyond, giving you 100 gigabytes worth of space for just mods alone.
Yeah, but they don't have
PlayStation
mods, right?
doesn't like mods.
I mean, but they can still release the base game and just say, right, you don't have mod access. If you want to play mods, then go to PC or Xbox.
Nobody's going to buy it on the PlayStation then.
I don't expect
because
no one likes it on PlayStation. They already crucified it.
Oh yeah, and that's another thing. I think if they say, okay, there's no red line, and we're going to make these games, and they're going to in secret make PS5 ports, and they're going to wait to see the Xbox and PC reception and the general populace perception of the games that are coming, and they're going to release the game and then say, okay, if the reception is good, we will consider a PlayStation port. If the PlayStation fans are being complete donkey about it, then we're just going to forgo the PlayStation port because they aren't going to want it anyway. And that's the way I feel about it. And that's a travesty for the gamers on the PlayStation who would eventually possibly get it, who will say it's a great game. And that's the big thing.
I think that's the thing. Like, if a game is received really poorly, I don't think Microsoft will bother porting it over.
Yeah.
There's no reason to.
Forza, I think, is going to kill GT, in all honesty. I heard the same thing, that Forza port for PS5 is already, finished and completed, and they're just waiting for something to port over.
What's going on in chat?
John, no one wants Starfield. Steve was saying that I was cutting out.
Some people think. I don't see. I'm not seeing it.
I'm not talking about motorsport bags. I'm talking about Forza Horizon 5.
The whole redefining the Xbox fan, Rebby, basically means that Xbox gamers will be everywhere. You're no longer defined to one platform. It's everything.
Yeah, how about the Lego Horizon porting to Xbox?
Yeah, we were discussing that a little while ago. It makes sense, and anyone saying that that's not a Sony decision is silly. It is 100% a Sony decision.
Now, see, the big thing that I think in the news today, generally speaking, is the news that Sony might be selling the rights of Spider-Man back to Marvel.
Yeah, and that to me makes sense. I think they should have done that a long time ago.
I personally think it's to make capital to try and buy Katakawa.
No, I think it's more... At the moment, they stand to lose it for free because their contract states that they have to make a Spider-Man movie every so many years. And if they don't, they lose the rights to the Spider-Man movie license. So they are having to spend hundreds of millions of dollars in order to make these films, whether they want to or not, within that time frame, or they lose the license. That's a horrible
they've made
stipulation.
Spider-Man 3.
Yeah,
with the multiverse stuff. That was recent.
But they
That's
have
within
to
10
make
years.
it. But they have to
Yeah.
make it.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is they have to. If they wanted to have like a 10-year break,
they can't.
They can't do that. They would lose the license for free. It would automatically revert to Marvel. And that's just such a huge ball ache.
The only thing that I can think of is that Tom Holland didn't want to come back.
Tom Holland was never with them.
Well, he was the main actor for the 3 follow-on movies.
Yeah, but that's Marvel. That's got nothing to do with the Sony movies.
No, he was the 3 Spider-Man standalones.
No, you got Tobey Maguire. Who was the other 2? You got Tobey Maguire, Garfield. Those are Sony.
Yeah. Tom Holland wasn't Marvel.
Tom Holland is Marvel. Tom Holland is Marvel. And that's it. And when they did that kind of collaboration, that was Sony and Marvel collaborating together to make that movie. But the bottom line is, Sony has to do a movie every so often in order to actually...
Yeah, John, I'm not going to talk about Reforged because that guy is complete bollocks. He's just a bellend, to use Chaos's terms.
He is a total bellend. I think people will buy Lego.
There'll be a few.
I think there's a market there because there's a lot of Series S's out in the world, and a lot of them were bought for the younger generation, right? The younger kids, for birthday presents, Christmas presents. You know, those that are 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds, 8-year-olds. They will be interested in anything Lego. So that will be where that's going to be primed at. And I think it could possibly do quite well just based on the Lego name alone. Whether the game is any good or not is a different matter. But just on the name alone, it has a chance to actually do well. But for the bigger, for the older generation, not so much.
I can feel that it'll sell well on Xbox, at least somewhat decent, maybe 1 million copies, just to kind of fanboys rub it in the face of PlayStation.
Rabbit, didn't I
See, we buy games.
No, I'm not going to do a video today. It'll be tomorrow now. I've got another show that I need to jump on soon, so...
What's up, Devastator? Bastard. But no, isn't the 3rd Spider-Man movie with the multiverses a crossover of Tom Holland and...
Yes, but that was the collaboration between Sony and Marvel.
Okay.
Hey, Devastator, how's it going?
Rabbit, yeah, Bungie was... Bungie was 3.2 billion to buy on loan with the
3.6.
Kelowna. It was 3.6.
Yeah.
And Katakawa is worth 3.9, and somebody in chat just said it's set aside for 4.3 billion to buy, or 4.2 billion to buy them. I just don't think they have the capital without another Kelowna loan. I'm sure PlayStation is good for it. They have a capital of about 144 billion. But I fully think that that's why they're trying to sell the Spider-Man rights back to Marvel, is because they're trying to get capital.
I think Heatwave has made it, and this is what I've always been saying, right? Despite me saying that the console platform does matter, gaming is changing, and as an Xbox owner, whether you're on PC or on Xbox, as long as you're a Game Pass subscriber, you will get all those games. And if we're looking at the games that are coming out in 2025,
oh yeah, there's a whole bunch just in the first few months alone.
You are going to save a metric ton of money if you're subscribed to Game Pass. I mean, the amount of games coming out on Xbox next year, if they all arrive, that's a big stipulation of if they arrive. But if they arrive and you play them all of those first-party games, whether it's Avowed or whatever, even Call of Duty, because that's going to have a version next year. You're probably going to get a Starfield expansion, though I think you might have to pay for that one because it's an expansion. But you get what I'm saying. Towerborn, whatever. You will make enough. You will save enough money to pay for 25 and 26 Game Pass subscription, and still be saving money on top of that.
Well, let's see. If you paid $20 for Ultimate times 12, that's 140.
Yeah, you guys get stifled, man. We only pay 15.
Yeah. But that's 140 a year, right?
Or free if you do the Microsoft rewards.
True. There is that stipulation where you can get it for cheaper. Plus, there's also CD keys.
I did it for 3 months and as I was talking to, King David, I mentioned how crap Bing was. It really is a bad search engine. But I did it for 3 months and lived with Bing for 3 months. And, I got 3 months of Game Pass for free out of it.
Yep. So at $140 for a subscription service for the year or less, then, just saying at most, that is 3 games. You get 3 games and you've more than paid for enough games throughout the year. And right now, we already know Avowed, South of Midnight, Doom, Perfect Dark, although I think Fable's 2026, and Perfect Dark is 2026. But that's still 3 other games that will essentially pay for the year of your Game Pass that you save money on.
That would be hilarious, Devastator. But yeah, so you save enough as it is.
Oh yeah.
Regardless of how gaming is going,
and that's not including multi-plat games too.
There will, and I often see what need is there to buy an Xbox until they kind of bring your back catalog along and whatnot.
Oh, and Avowed, I almost forgot about that one.
Game Pass will always be there on your console, and your back catalog will always be there. So, in my opinion, there is still value to be had from the console. It's just not as valuable as it would be if it was day one. I mean, sorry, all exclusive.
Yeah.
Because that just adds more value. And I know some people will argue that exclusives don't add value. I don't understand how people come to that conclusion. But they do.
I would rather see every game on every platform to allow people the freedom of choice to play where they want.
No, I get that. But I'm saying that if
Jaden Nunya corrected me. It's $240 a year for Xbox. I was wrong.
Yeah, in the UK it's £180. So you guys pay $60 more.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying what you're saying is wrong. I'm just saying that if you don't have exclusives, it will devalue. So if let's just say Starfield when it launched was exclusive only to the Xbox console. Are you telling me PC players wouldn't have bought an Xbox to play that at the time?
If it wasn't announced yet for PC?
No announcement for PC. It was a 100% exclusive to console only.
If it was going to stay console exclusive.
Elder Scrolls 6. exclusive only to Xbox. Fallout 5, exclusive only to Xbox. Outer Worlds, exclusive only to Xbox. Avowed, exclusive
We're not going
only
to go
to
into that
Xbox.
conversation.
Perfect Dark, exclusive only to Xbox. Fable, exclusive only to Xbox. Halo Infinite, exclusive only to Xbox. Gears E-Day, exclusive
If
only
it's
to Xbox.
not on Game Pass, because then you have the Game Pass PC app always.
But that wouldn't be there. Game Pass would only be on Xbox. What I'm saying is, if it was only exclusive to the Xbox console, all of these games that I just counted, you would see a much higher take in on the console platform. The console,
probably about 20 more million subs.
You would get the console would sell, but
A
if
few
it's
more would
available
sell,
on
yeah.
PC,
A couple million,
if more than a couple million, but the fact that it's available on your Asus ROG, it's available on your PC. The fact that it's on the cloud service means...
The only reason why I say only a couple million and not higher, like tens of millions, is because look at the reception that the latest Halo got. A game like Gears E-Day coming out, that will move consoles.
Halo would have moved consoles as well if it didn't come out showing itself as a terrible game.
Exactly. And people in the fan base of Halo that are true fans of Halo, I think, are going to look at the next future games and be wary.
Yeah, but you're looking at that now. I'm saying at the time, if they were only...
I'm talking looking forward, given the history of
now it's too late. The damage is done now. It's too late now.
Yeah.
I'm saying from 2016, if they kept everything exclusive...
Okay, going back to 2016.
I mean, even if you go back to 2020, keep everything exclusive to Xbox only, and PC wasn't ever a factor, they would have sold more consoles. It's really that simple, and I don't understand why people say that they wouldn't have. They would have sold more platforms.
Absolutely, they would have.
But that's not the direction they want to go in. And the fact is, by making it available on Xbox, on PC, and handheld PCs, and cloud devices, they've diluted the need for the platform. And so people, if I've got a powerful PC now, I don't need to buy... I mean, let's see how many people, PC-specific people, are going to go and buy a console to play GTA 5.
I mean, E-Ranks, I pay $240 a year times 2. Me and the wife. So...
Right? GTA 6. If there are PC-only players out there that actually like GTA, do you think that they're not going to go buy a console to play that? Of course they will. Not all of them, but there will be...
Not all, but there will be some.
There'll be 5 million, 10 million that will buy it. We're looking at...
And those players that do, I think they're going to wait until it releases. They're not going to pre-order it. They're not going to go out and buy a console beforehand because they're going to wait to see how it runs.
No one's even paying attention to you.
Who? What?
Slimy, he's just being a twat and I can't be bothered with him anymore.
Oh.
But what I'm saying is, it would have been I'm not even console warring here. I'm just proving a point, and my dude is still going on about console wars. Just
gotcha. I saw it.
Go and suck your Sony console.
Yep.
Make sure it's from the power port as well. You'll get an extra effect from it with the power on. You'll get that Home Alone true effect. But
no, Steve, we're not going to permaban him.
But in the end, that's the way I see it. And they've decided from an early point, all the way back from 2016, that was not where they wanted to be. This plan to go...
Wasn't it 2013 with PC Day and Date?
No, 2016. The first one was what was it? Quantum Break? I think it was Quantum Break. That was the first one that went day and date with PC, because I remember that because that's where Crap Game of Salt first started. That's why I call it the legendary tweet.
Gotcha.
But that's where it started, and it's been slowly evolving over time because they know that the more places that they can have it, the better. But they were going through it in a slow transition. ABK just opened the floodgates, and whether we'll see true exclusivity again or whatnot, I don't know. But as far as I'm concerned, I get my games day one on Game Pass, and I'm enjoying it. And there are certain games I'll buy. Right, I bought Starfield Constellation Edition, the limited edition, and if there's an Indiana Jones Collector's Edition available when payday happens, I'll probably try and pick one of those up as well because it looks nice and I love Indiana Jones. But I won't do that for every game. Only games I feel special towards, and I love Indiana Jones. Right, I'm an indie fan, which is why it's my.
Oh, the Indiana Jones game is great. I love it. I gotta go back and play more of it.
But yeah, that's basically all I'm gonna say on that matter. If you're a Game Pass owner, you're already winning.
There is true value in Game Pass, no matter which way you look at it. You can get it
for free. I mean, you get as long as you've got your 1 month subscription, go do the rewards. You can pretty much get it for free every month. And if you do it for 3 months, you even get a bigger discount on the rewards.
And Heatwave hits it right on the head. Game Pass, you get the option to try a game that you wouldn't normally buy as well. Look at Power World.
Do you know what? Heatwave, there has been a number of indie games, and honestly, I don't remember the names now, but there's like 4 or 5 indie games that I would never have tried. Ever in a million years.
The one with the color switching.
No, this was another game. I can't remember the name. If I find it, I'll let you know what it is. I highly recommend it. It's a really good game. But some of them that I've played, I ended up just sitting through all of it and playing it from start to finish. And some of them are like
Court Keeper's another one.
But I would never have experienced those games without Game Pass, and that's the beauty of it. It's allowed me to play so many more indie games that I generally wouldn't have, especially. And even like small AA games. Some of them hit, some of them don't. But it doesn't matter. Like Flint Rock. I tried it. I didn't like it. I didn't have to, I'm under no obligation to buy it.
Now, see, Gaming Survivor, the whole thing about Paris is he hypes up games. Yes, he is an Xbox figurehead because he's been on stage. He's always pro Xbox, but he's also pro gamer. He tweeted out that Astro Bot was going to be Game of the Year. He said it himself after playing it. I personally don't think it would be my Game of the Year, and I don't think it deserves to be Game of the Year, but I can't say that it's a bad game.
No, I think Wukong should have won, though.
Agreed. Wukong,
20 million sales in such a short amount of time, I think it should. I mean, considering everyone says sales matter, I think Astro Bot proved that sales don't mean anything.
Yep. And don't forget, Power World dwarfed Black Myth Wukong on Google Trends and sold just about as much.
See, Vague, that doesn't bother me. Once I've played the game and I've finished it, I don't go back to play it again. Now, if it's this game that is especially endearing to me, that I grow an attachment to, the Final Fantasy series is an example of this. I buy those physical, and I just keep them on my bookshelf. But
Same.
Indiana Jones is another one. Starfield is another one. I will buy those and put them on my bookshelf. But
I enjoy games that you can go back to and have replay value, personally.
But you'll notice that if I have the physical version of the game, I also have the digital version because I don't bother putting discs into my drive anymore. So I actually buy the digital first. I wait for the physical to go down in price, and then I'll go and buy the physical version at a cheaper price, usually like £20, £15, and just put it on my bookcase. And that's how I do it. But the games that I want for that are so few and far between. I just don't care. I mean, for me personally, it might matter to you, but not for me.
I can prove you wrong right there, because I got the collector's edition of God of War Ragnarok, the second game, and I did not get a physical copy of the game. And even if you do get the physical copy of the game, it is not the day one patch game, and you still have to connect to the internet in order to get that day one patch, and you can't avoid downloading it. It won't let you play it without it.
There are some games like that, yeah.
Yep.
A lot of games like that.
And that's not including all the live service games like Helldivers 2 or Suicide Squad.
And what happens when they stop authenticating? I've already played them. I don't care about them. Literally, I don't understand. I mean, it's the same thing with my Netflix subscription. I watch the movie, I'm done, I move on. I play the game, I'm done, I move on. I don't reinstall it, I don't play it again. If they stop authenticating, well, I've already played it. I'm not going to go back to it again anyway.
So what is your most excited for the early next year within the first couple months of what we know is coming out?
I don't know. I actually don't know.
I'm excited for both Avowed and Doom. I don't think Perfect Dark is going to be either early in the year or 2025 at all. And I'm, of course, excited for Fable, but I think Doom and Avowed are my two most anticipated right now.
Doom, I'm looking forward to. I'm not a big Monster Hunter fan, but I do like the story that they put into it, so I might.
Oh, and coming up in like a week, we have the new Power World Fabric. I know you don't like base building.
Yeah, Power World isn't for me. Avowed, I don't know. If I can get past my principles, I'll give it a try.
I'll play with you.
Avowed is multiplayer?
No, Power World.
Oh, right.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Power World, not Avowed. I'm sorry.
Towerborn looks interesting, so it reminds me of a couple of Saturn games that I played, so I'll probably give that a try. But in terms of like true excitement, not really sure.
Later in the year, I'm expecting Expedition 33 to be pretty good.
I played
it's
that
made by
already.
the same people who made Frostpunk 2.
I played that. That's quite fun, but you do need a group. You need
E33?
Yeah.
I didn't think it was multiplayer.
Wait. I'm talking about Immortal 33.
Oh, no.
I think
I'm talking about
Expedition 33. That's probably my most looked for game right now.
Yeah, it's
I love the way that looks. Yeah, that's my most hyped
that
game.
looks like Lost Odyssey.
That's probably my most hyped game right now.
Okay.
There's a website for preserving games that tracks games that can be. Oh, there is.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
There is.
Yeah.
Hey, Devastator. Now DCG says Microsoft is broke in React. Good lord. Yeah, I'll check that out.
Oh God! After he already said Xbox was dead a couple days ago, and that he was right, apparently.
$2. That guy's thing. Obviously, Gears E-Day is 26, so that's.
How can it be broke if they're dead, and he was right? I mean, what is he even talking about now? I swear that dude needs to get something off. I don't know.
I know, Heatwave. But guys, that is going to be it for me for today. Went a little longer than I thought. But
what time does Porter Rock go on?
In 2.5 hours.
So 8:30 for me.
It should be 7:30 EST.
Then an hour and a half.
That's what he said. Is it an hour and a half?
Yeah, 6 now.
Okay. If that's what it is.
So I'll drop the link to Porter Rock's channel in the chat again in case anybody wants to show up and support Chaos. I'll be there.
Oh, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time.
8:30 p.m. Okay, so 2.5 hours.
Yes, 2.5 hours. So yeah, hopefully that stream won't go wayward and we'll have a good discussion there. Even that's going to be
like I said, when he's not fanboying and he's actually having a conversation with logical people, he has decent takes. I will give him that. Yeah, but when he's fanboying, he goes off the rails. And some of the people that he has on, like M, no. That dude needs to go fly off the rails somewhere. But yeah, I'm gonna go and check out Lord Addict and King David over there. Support them and Iron Lords. Got to figure out which channel they're actually on. Yeah, sorry, I missed talking to King David and Paris earlier.
Drop me a link for King thing as well because
I don't know which channel.
Just to wish him a happy birthday because it's a happy birthday. Just drop it for my Discord.
No, I don't know which channel King David
when you figure it out.
Oh, okay. I don't know if it's going to be on Iron Lord's podcast or.
Am I going to do a new stream tomorrow instead?
Gaming Addicts channel.
No. Tomorrow's.
I'll find out.
Oh, tomorrow's Wednesday. Thursday. Yes. I mean, after today, I'm gonna see how I feel because my throat is really scratchy. So I'm hoping to be
Right,
able to
right.
make it through that. If I'm well enough tomorrow, I'm gonna stream over at Twitch. And then if I'm streaming on Twitch, then you'll know that I'll be doing another news post on Thursday.
And look,
on the
me
19th.
personally, I will say this wholeheartedly. If you are willing to have a conversation about this console or that console or PC, I will have that conversation and be perfectly fine and calm and say, hey, that's fine. Don't be a fanboy. But the moment that you say Xbox is dead, PlayStation is better, and have no argument, you're done. That's when I cross the line and say, okay, you're out of here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always happy to
If
have
you're
that
willing to have
conversation.
if you're willing to have the conversation, then have the conversation. But if you're just going to spout off fanboy nonsense, then go kick rocks. Okay, Torino says it's going to be on Gaming Addicts channel.
All right.
So I'll grab that
Awesome,
link and I'll
Torino.
post it in the chat.
Bottle of whiskey a day keeps the doctors away. And with that, it keeps me going away. As you can see, my voice is really getting bad. So I am going to call it a night there, folks.
Yep.
And I will see you all either over at Twitch tomorrow, or if I'm on Twitch tomorrow, I will be on YouTube on Thursday. If I'm not there tomorrow, chances are I'm not going to be there on Thursday.
So here's Gaming Addict to wish him a happy birthday and see King David some more until Chaos comes on with Porter Rock later.
I may do something on the weekend if I feel better, but if I don't, then it will be back to the usual schedule next week. My voice is just really itchy, and yeah, I just need to get better as soon as possible, really, before Christmas, because I'm not one of those Muslims that don't celebrate Christmas. We celebrate.
I'm Jewish, so I don't celebrate Christmas, but I celebrate Christmas for the wife and kids.
Yeah, we celebrate like everyone else. So I need to make sure I don't go to my brother's house and infect him with my T virus. Take it easy, everyone.
Have a good one, everyone.
Peace out, and I hope you enjoyed the stream. See you next time.
I have to go back and watch it.
Peace. Bye.